welcome to the Saladcast on Saturday the 3rd of November 2012. I'm your host Dan Train, joining for today, Robert Kemp,
yeah,
and Zachary Burgess.
Pinnacle of video game podcasting.
That's what we are.
Video game.
Pinnacle of video game podcasting.
Podcasting.
We should just do a transcript of a podcast and feed it through the text-to-speech on
Moonbase Alpha.
Moonbase Alpha.
Or any text-to-speech.
Clap, clap, clap.
Are there any programs out there that anyone uses other than the classic shit-talking version 1.2 by John Deere?
I hope there's a new version of that by now.
Oh, is there?
Hope it's past 1.2.
Shit-talking version
At least
1.2 by John Deere. I don't know, it seemed like it was abandonware where we were using it. That was in the late 90s.
Well, speech generators are just everywhere, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not just limited to that. That was just the one that made us laugh the most because it had that insult generator built in.
Had that random vowel sound.
And the singing mode.
Yeah.
Which we used for our collision software title.
Yeah. Or you did anyway.
Or you just could press a button and just did a random inflection on every
It made them all notes.
Yeah. You have a new high score. Was that just luck?
That was luck, yeah.
Oh, genius.
Game statistics.
That was genius. Were they the two?
Yeah, I think so, because there was
Pack beam.
yeah. Because everything else just ended up monotone, it begins.
That was cool though, that worked. I don't know. Yeah. Moody lightning strikes. Pack beam. Pack beam.
Oh, I tell you what I did this week. I looked up happysalad.com on the way back.
Oh, it works. And
some of it works.
Well, the most amazing thing is some of the images aren't there, but the actual freaking game files are there, so you could load the Vitalized games if you have the plugin. It's amazing. I was playing them at work.
I just had to go there and read some of the incredibly retarded things we wrote on the internet.
Oh god, it was so retarded. It was basically a flame war between us for no reason.
Yeah, it was deliberate piss-taking. Every game was here's the person who made the game writing the description. Then their comments were I'm awesome, I programmed this, it's great. And then everyone else just talking shit.
Saying, no, it's not that great, it's actually shit.
That whole page we had dedicated to basically keyboard pukes. Which is let's put some random characters in
random word space
and give them meaning.
What, Aegis Egg?
Aegis Egg, that was the only one that really stuck.
Aegis Egg was a bit like for Hookugads, I guess, from Strong Band.
It doesn't mean the same thing though.
No, I'm saying
You're saying it's a random word.
Random word that actually, from spazzing on a keyboard, that actually stuck.
Yeah.
Something getting Aegis Egged was the process of it not being completed.
Being derailed by laziness. Yes. Like every single one of Zach's projects, with the exception of Pack Block.
And Pack Rotate. Or not, Rotate Concept.
Oh, did that become something?
That's on the side.
Oh yeah! Rotate Concept.
I made a proper concept game.
That's true. And so did Rob, and I didn't.
No.
I made a game that had the name concept, but ignored all the rules.
Yep.
For some reason. Because I just wanted to make a simple game, and you guys were going on about, we'll have this, simple games thing.
It was supposed to be, super simple games with super simple aesthetics.
They were like, it's going to be black, white, and orange. And I was like, grayscale with a bit of orange. How's that? That was kind of hilarious.
In hindsight, our idea of aesthetics wasn't really very well refined back then.
Well, we were
especially not mine.
We were just ahead of the time for we stole the idea of Deus Ex, clearly. The new one.
What, everything orange?
Black, orange, and white.
No, that's
black
true.
and gold. Yeah, we were edgy.
Yeah, exactly. We were ahead of our time.
To be fair,
I couldn't spell. That was the other thing I discovered when I went back
could
there.
You not spell?
Well, there was the worst example was when we were writing the pages about us, which were also a horrible flame war.
Yeah, the worst flame war.
It was I'm not sure why we decided, but at some point we clearly decided that those pages were going to be written under a no backspace rule. So every spelling mistake and every error is just left in there. Which in some cases is funny, and in my case it's totally unreadable, because I couldn't spell at all at the time.
Or at least couldn't type.
Well, yeah, that too, maybe.
Yeah.
Mutant A-lines.
That wasn't me.
No, that was me. A-lines are attacking the Earth, yeah. That's easily done. Let's like spelling friends or friend wrong. It's
Weird.
It's quite common with your child, I guess, isn't it?
Or weird.
Or weird, yeah. Weirdly.
That's the thing I noticed. I watched an episode of X Factor USA. People have weird names.
There's people with weird names in the British one, isn't
I
there?
know, but
Was it Jermaine or something?
Jarmaine.
Jarmaine, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how you actually say it as well. But there's like people.
My friend got like hearted like this through the window by that guy the other day. She was like jumping. She saw him in a random meeting room in Swindon. She was like jumping up and down, going woo, and trying to tweet him and stuff. Managed to get him to like do that. I guess
Do the heart symbol.
The heart symbol with your hands.
I hate people who do that.
Yeah.
Actually, I only hate one person who does that.
Who's that?
That fucking footballer who does it every time he scores a goal.
Oh,
It's just,
that's not a
you
good
look
sign.
retarded! Stop doing that!
How do you do it? Because I'm doing it towards myself. You need to do it outwards,
Yeah,
surely.
you need to turn it away. It's
Oh,
like,
that's quite hard to do.
it's like the Dr. Evil thing.
Oh, like
yeah,
that. Shit, that doesn't look like a heart. Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Rob, you just do it towards yourself. And then you just turn it around.
And he doesn't see what it looks like from the other side. I haven't got a mirror in my vicinity.
Yes, that's the trouble. Anyway, weird names.
Well, yeah, there's this group called like Sister C or something in the America one. And they're all sisters, and all their names begin with C, except they're like Kelby.
Kelby.
That was the only one I can really remember.
Great, good examples there.
Yeah, but it was just like, it just stood out, because it's like, Kelby!
That sounds like it should be spelled with a K anyway.
Yeah, like Kelvin.
Or maybe it's pronounced Selby or Chelby, I don't know, but like, regardless, all of them are dumb.
All of the ones that you can remember are dumb.
All of the pronunciations of possible pronunciations for Kelby are dumb.
Selby might be okay, I guess.
It's like, where did these crazy names suddenly come from?
Don't know. Maybe people make them up. I mean, is there anything against
Because they got
making
bored
up?
of everyone being called like John.
Yeah, presumably.
Apologies to all the Johns. You have a normal name, it's fine.
Sorry, Master Chief.
John. John.
Yeah, people feel they have to be original for some reason when they're picking baby names.
Yeah.
But surely you just have to pick a good name.
Name them after Final Fantasy characters, they'll be weird enough.
Yeah.
Cloud.
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 I bet there are a few clouds out there.
I think that's probably common for girls though, rather than blokes. I think Cloud.
I don't know. Cloud isn't.
I don't know if
It doesn't sound like a male or female name, really.
I've known a couple of
Cloud.
Skies.
Sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's more obvious. Lightning, lol.
Barrett.
Barrett.
That's your name like in Barrett.
That's a pretty sweet name. But
Yeah. Well, Red is like a nickname, isn't it? Someone with red hair.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, in America it is. I guess it's quite condescending. It's what you call a red-haired girl, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Refer
like
to them as red.
you could probably get away with Aerith.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Maybe if you do it with the TH way rather than the S way as well.
I don't know, but then it sounds weirder. It sounds more
Would people
deliberately weird. If
Would
you
people
have
just
the
assume it came from Lord of the Rings because it has that sort of like
Yeah,
twist
maybe.
to it?
What was the retarded character name in the Final Fantasy you were playing recently? The recent one, the PS3 one.
What, Hope?
Which retarded? Yeah, Hope. There's a character called Hope.
No, not Hope. That is actually a name,
Yeah.
isn't it? No.
Wait, wasn't the bloke in that called Sky?
Yeah, probably.
The
I can't remember.
I remember
No,
there was
Lightning,
someone with a
obviously.
really
It was Lightning.
really retarded name. One of the blokes, I think.
Sans Caps, right?
Saz Caz,
Yeah,
right?
that's the most amazing name ever.
So clearly you're going to name your child Saz.
Saz.
That's the one I was thinking of. Unfortunately, that's the mostly good because of the surname, which you can't control.
Vanille.
Oh, that's it, Vanille. That's what I meant. Vanille. Clearly.
That's the Orgasma girl's name.
Is it for a boy's name, right?
No, that's
It's a girl's
the
name.
girl.
Oh, I have a daughter. I would name her Vanille.
Yeah, she was the one that was constantly.
Vanille. Sounds like venereal. I think I said that at the time.
Yeah, I think you did.
Anyway. Vanille.
Saz Cat's right.
Anyway, so future gaming children
Yeah.
should all be named Zelda. And
Quistis. FF8.
Well, isn't Robin Williams' daughter named Zelda after Princess Zelda? Is that right? Famously.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose Zelda was a
Yeah.
name before.
Zelda's neighbour.
Yeah, that was like a 60s name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the weirdest name. It's not
No.
like Moonbase. What's her name? Moonbase Zappa. Is that a man or a boy? I think it's a man.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Frank Zappa named his child Moonbase.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, Moonbase Zappa.
Okay. Genius. That's pretty dumb.
Hence that joke in Austin Powers. Moon Unit. Sorry, it's Moon Unit, not Moonbase.
Oh.
I have my Moon Unit Alpha, and Moon Unit Zappa.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense now.
Moon Unit. Yeah, I know.
And then
I started getting jokes in Austin Powers that I never got. Like in the first one, there's a zip it good,
Oh, yeah.
which I never got before.
Ding, ding, ding.
You,
Ding, ding,
when
ding,
the problem
ding,
comes
ding,
along,
ding.
you must zip it good.
Well, I don't know if Moonbase is better or worse than Harper 7.
Moon Unit. Yeah, 7
Moon Unit.
for Neil. That's clearly that.
But big wedge. Can you imagine calling your son Wedge?
Wedge. I bet there's a few wedges out there.
Well, because of Wedge Antilles.
Yeah, hero of the. There'll be a few Star Trek based ones, won't there? Like, well, not
Spock.
Spock. Obviously not Spock, but
Or some ridiculous Klingon name.
Yeah.
Worf.
Worf.
The bear was going to call him the Canary, then, aren't they? Or if they were called Worf in this country.
Yeah, potentially.
Mark Canary.
Not quite sure it would work that way. I think more it would be more like that. Doesn't sound like
Alright, Space Boy.
it sounds more like the other way around would be a more likely way to arrive at a nickname. If you were called Canary, your nickname would become Worf.
But
But to be called Worf and come up with the nickname Canary, that seems a bit more of a stretch.
possibly. I don't know. Could do something. I mean, there's plenty of Worfs, WHARF,
Yeah,
in the world.
but that's not a very common word
No,
in everyday usage.
that's true.
If you were to pronounce Worf in the same way that you do whore, it would be Horf.
Worf.
But Worf doesn't have an H in it.
Doesn't it?
No, it's WORF, isn't it? Simple as that.
No, not that Worf. The other Worf.
Oh,
Shouldn't it be Canary Horf?
That'd be more like wow.
That's true. Canary Wharf. That's like cool whip, isn't it?
Yeah, cool whip.
Cool whip. Cool whip. Cool whip.
Heel. Get behind the heel. The heel. The heel.
Doesn't he actually do that? Isn't there an episode of Family Guy where the entire cast of Star Trek appear? But he doesn't say Wharf. He says Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton.
That doesn't follow the rules. It's WH.
That's Will Wheaton works because that has an H in it.
It'd be Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. But he just says Will Wheaton.
Wheaton.
Fuck.
So anyway,
Rob
video
is
games.
displeased by that whole conversation.
Do we have any news going on?
That's why we haven't been talking about it.
Don't
Yeah,
know
it's not much news.
Did you guys talk about that Star Citizen stuff or whatever it is? Or what the fuck's it called? The Wing Commander guy's making a kickstarted.
Yeah.
Well, not even kickstarted. It's like it's already got funding, but he did a bit of kickstarting.
Yeah.
Space game, massively multiplayer, I think, isn't it? But like
Something like that.
proper, not like Eve, like you actually
Actual flying. Like,
actually flying in
But there was-
fighters.
was it Jumpgate or something before that was?
Jump-
That cancelled massive project that ran for years.
Yeah, I think it was like Jumpgate, and then there was another one that was like it had a name like Black Prophecy, except it wasn't that because that's a first-person shooter.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to remember what it was, but yeah, there was an MMO that was being made that had proper space combat mechanics.
Yeah,
Well, this one seems like it has a reasonable chance to go because it's
Well,
got
they-
this guy doing it.
I don't think they should try and
That
make
other
it
project
massively multiplayer. They should try and do it like Freelancer again.
Yeah.
because small servers worked well enough.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that would be
Just
good.
depends how big the
Or it
universe is,
depends.
I
They
guess.
could pull it off like Guild Wars, I guess. You know, if that Guild Wars seem to have like got that kind of architecture correct. But the thing is you need. I think you need like the ability to do crazy numbers of players, perhaps to do the sort of scale that space epics seem to require.
Yeah, but the trouble with crazy numbers of players in spaceships is it looks a lot more dumb when spaceships clip for each other than people. I'm not sure why that is the case. But when, you've got spaceships that are friendly and they're flying for each other, that looks totally retarded. Whereas when it's a bunch of people running for each other, that doesn't look that bad for some reason.
That's absolutely true. Does that happen a lot in Eve?
What? Clipping for each other? Yeah. No, they don't clip, they bounce.
Oh, well...
Well, they clip, but then they bounce. Providing your ship is going fast enough and big enough, it's like... Well,
you'd have to do that then, proper...
I don't think it'd be that bad.
But if you're doing a space simulator, you want proper collisions.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they?
So
because then you wouldn't be able to have very many people, because it'd be fucking impossible to do anything without running into people all the time.
I don't know, though, because the space is pretty big, and those ships are pretty tiny.
You can just spread out.
The idea is you're meant to have lots of people in the same area, though, isn't it?
I suppose.
You can still spread out.
I think it'd be alright.
If they do it on a proper scale, anyway, where, the size of the ships that you're supposed, the capital ships or something would be friggin' enormous.
But it's like running into your own team is only half the problem. What about running into the enemies? Because that's the other classic problem of space combat, where it's like you're flying directly towards each other because that's where your guns are pointing, and then you go donk.
Well, I think what normally happens is there was some sort of they didn't just and I don't from years ago in the combat games I played, you never really just sort of stopped into each other.
I didn't say donk as in stop. I meant donk as in a hella collision.
Yeah, there was some sort of after effect where if they ran for each other, that would probably be okay because at the end of the day, to you'd have some sort of bang, and then your craft would be fucked for a moment.
It's like how it was in Freelancer, where you'd just be like.
What do you actually do in those
bad,
games?
I think, in Wing Commander.
What do you actually do in space combat games when you're heading straight for someone? What do you do? You pull up or down, or you go to the side?
You turn away.
Or something.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you're not on the same plane, so you can pretty easily just sort of pull in up or down, and you'll likely avoid the other guy just.
Yeah, but the chances are that that's the other sort of problem with space, is that it's hard to tell how far away things are.
Yeah.
That's why you need the HUD.
Well, yeah, but even then...
the HUD.
Even then, it's still not that easy. So it can be quite easy to accidentally not pull up in time.
Yeah, but a bit of me kind of thinks that would be hilarious and cool. Like the noob server or something, or the starting area, and people are just running into each other.
Well, they could do it some other... They could come up with some kind of ingenious solution, maybe make it so that instead of the ships being your major ship or something, make them basically disposable, but you just generate a new one every time you crash. So collisions don't matter, but then you just get a new ship.
That would make sense.
But then that becomes more like an Unreal style shooter, if you know what I mean, where death isn't a problem.
I don't even know how this game's even going to look, really. There was a trailer, obviously, but it was all pre-rendered, clearly, because it's way miles and years away. But still, I think there was some in-engine-y stuff, though, that looked pretty amazing. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, interesting, because for starters, we haven't had space combat in ages,
no,
and secondly, it'll be interesting to see how far they get, given that there has been at least 2 projects that got a long way down the line and then just disappeared.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I think one of the best things about Kickstarter has been a revival of dead genres or potential, adventure games, strategy games like with the Planetary Annihilation, and now space combat shooters. It's people have been complaining for ages that these haven't existed and they haven't been funded by the big companies because they're not surefire winners. Yeah. So Kickstarter comes in and says...
Then again, it took XCOM to revive turn-based, you could argue. But...
Well, there's not going to be another big hit turn-based one unless it's from Firaxis, I wouldn't have thought. I don't think it's going to start a bandwagon, the XCOM thing, no matter how good it is.
Well, unless it makes another Advance Wars on the cards.
Bloody hope so.
They didn't need XCOM to prove anything. Advance Wars was always good.
No, but maybe they were worried that genre had run its course again, even on its form factor, and now XCOM comes along. I
don't think Nintendo people or
have any idea of when to run its course.
Exactly. They're like, we'll just carry on.
But that's true, but it's not Ninty, is it? It's Atlas.
No, that's true.
No, it's Intelligent Systems.
But
I mean, Japanese developers.
I suppose that is Ninty, isn't it?
They've been doing other things in the meantime, like Pushmo and
Crash
Mario.
Wow, they've been making good games. Then.
Yeah, they make good games, but now they should make another Advance. They've been spending too long doing Pushmo and Paper Mario.
I was about to say, I hear a lot about it, but I've never actually played Pushmo. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it is. I've seen it.
It's just a puzzle game.
Kind of.
Where you
not super
make
complicated.
Staircases by extruding blocks, basically. It's like Cube.
Oh, right.
Sort of, I guess. Apart from it's all based on that, less on 3D environments. It's 2D playing, basically.
I saw a game come up as an advert on my iPad earlier today called Twist Pilot. And it's like, it seemed to be about getting a sort of stick-like object through thin places by using tilt controls.
All right.
And a bit of me is just like, fuck me, I enjoyed Kura.
Yeah, Kura in style. Oh man, that stupid multiplayer mode with the levels that lasted 2 seconds. That was the funnest thing ever.
The game was possibly... It was far too good.
I watched a tool-assisted run of Kura the other day.
Really?
Well, not the other day, a while ago. That's always funny, watching tool-assisted runs of anything, because it's always like, how fucked is this going to be? Whereas Kura, it's all like, literally just like mashing your way through and exploiting the invulnerability to the last possible moment and then just zigging it into a hell zone.
Yeah. Yeah, that was true. Yeah. You could bash your way through.
Some bits,
yeah. But you took damage really quickly.
Yeah, you had a few hits, didn't you? Like 2 or 3 per section.
And it made a really, visceral kind of, oh god.
Yeah, it was a big old
that.
janky movement.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a bounce involved.
Yeah.
And it was, it's quite off-putting.
It's a strange game. You played a stick. It was meant to be like a helicopter, but it rotated way too fast to actually keep you aloft.
Way too
slow, sorry, I mean. So it was just a really slow spinning stick.
It was like a helicopter, but it was about 100 or more times slower than a helicopter.
No, it made no sense, but it was hilarious. It was just, you were just a spinning stick. That's it.
It's for some reason I can't stop the spinning to get through this place. Because for some reason I needed to waft the extremely thick air to keep me afloat.
It basically made 0 sense, but it was hilarious.
Makes perfect sense. It's just like a planet with super dense air. You don't know where this takes place.
Could have been underwater.
Yeah, exactly. They could have all been breathing mercury. I wonder how slow a helicopter's blades would actually have to spin if it was submerged in mercury to actually produce enough for us to lift a helicopter's weight.
I don't know, because
assuming it could still spin the blades at all, need all kinds of engine adjustments to make it that much torque.
I don't know, propellers spin quite fast in water, so probably be relatively okay. And they just have to be a different shape, obviously. Propellers are bigger and stronger than... And
but a helicopter-side propeller, though. That's pretty big.
It's like a cruise ship.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah. That's true. They're kind of ducted now, aren't they, in those pods these days on cruise ships and stuff. Or all ships, I think. Even the big tankers have those, don't they? Now. Yeah. There's pods, what are they called? Azimuth something.
Yeah, something.
Boosters!
Pods of doom. Azimuth thrusters, that's right. So they can go both ways.
You've got boost power.
And they've got bow thrusters as well, so they can shove themselves sideways. Kind of like the space shuttle, sort of. Not really.
Sort of.
It's got bow thrusters, isn't it?
It's got a lot of thrusters, not just
got them on the front, though, hasn't it? Yes, so video game news.
News! I heard that Sega will be adding to Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing another guest character other than Danica Patrick from NASCAR.
When's that got that thing coming out?
Super soon.
Good.
Because
it looks hilariously awesome.
But the additional bonus character is Disney's Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph.
But does that mean it's going to that there's going to be a scene of the game in the movie?
Good question. They have got some of the Sonic licenses going in the film.
Oh yeah,
because Dr. Robotnik's in it.
Yeah,
it's going to be a strange film.
Apparently, it's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, that's what some guy on the internet said. That's all I saw.
Some guy on the internet.
Well, I think it was an actual guy, not just a random guy.
Yeah, no, I've seen several reports from some guys on the internet.
Okay.
That say it's great. Several equals worth a watch. Plus, go see Skyfall.
Yes, I haven't.
Go see Skyfall.
I want to.
Go see Skyfall.
Maybe I'll see it tomorrow.
What the fuck are you doing here? Go see Skyfall.
I don't know, man. It's probably booked up, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's the thing.
How
was your Maxi Eye?
IMAX is pretty cool. It's quite nice. The screen is so big you can see the pixels, which is a slight problem.
Oh, right.
But
how come? I thought you had special cameras that were higher enough res, I guess.
I don't know if they... Well, no, it's just in general. I think that maybe it's just... Either it's a shit IMAX or, that's just the nature of having a screen that big.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like the tech's not good enough to have video of that higher quality.
Because what res is... Do they film in 4K still with a digital camera? Or is it 8K or something?
Well, Skyfall was done off film.
Right.
There's a bit of a weird thing, because actually Skyfall wasn't actually filmed for IMAX. There's a process it goes through called
that makes
DMR, I think.
Right.
Not to be confused with the gun from Halo, or no, it's not DRM. No, it's definitely DMR, something like that. But they then do to IMAXify it somehow. I don't even know what that means. It's probably just the film.
With Dark Knight Rises, a lot of it was filmed with actual IMAX cameras, wasn't it? So that's quite different.
Yeah, but it's fine. And it helps that it's a very... My review is they've moved slightly further away from the original concept of what they were doing with the Daniel Craig ones by being all dark and broody, because they went too far with Quantum of Solace and it sucked. Yeah. And this one's a Bond film.
Right, okay,
good. You know what I mean?
Proper Bond film.
It's a Bond film.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That sounds ideal.
And I'll tell you what, the best thing about IMAX, actually, is not the screen. The best thing about IMAX is the fact that the sound, they crank it so up, you can't hear Chavs.
Wow. Okay.
It's fantastic.
It's loud. Jeez.
But I'm not sure it justifies the additional £4 or £5 asking price.
Well, I thought that...
On top of the already expensive cinema ticket.
What's the original idea of IMAX was that it would fill your entire peripheral vision, so you couldn't see anything except the image.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
straight at the middle of it.
Quite... Yeah, this one isn't quite like that. I mean,
okay.
It is big. Yeah, I mean, when you go into a cinema, they usually have... It's like a stage, isn't it, still?
Yeah.
So there's a stage and the screen sits on top.
Yeah. But this is just wall to...
And this one, they just get rid of...
ceiling.
Yeah, it's floor to ceiling now. The stage part doesn't exist. The speakers are still probably in that stage, but they're just behind the screen now.
Right, yeah.
And it's... Because it's a converted one.
Right.
It is good. Don't get me wrong. It is great.
Cool.
But I cannot see why they... why that price tag is so high.
No, it's just another way of getting money out of you.
Yeah, but it's so much higher than 3D, though, is the thing. It's like twice the tax that a 3D film is, and then some. You don't get it.
So you won't be going to the IMAX very often, then?
Not very often, though.
I can't imagine many people will.
No. I'm only ever going to go for the really, really big films I'm excited about. And you have to book like a week in advance as well. Because it got so big. Well, presumably because it's just Bond, I guess. It might even out a bit.
Yeah.
Plus, it's an IMAX, so and it was the first thing they're showing on it.
Yeah.
Ipswich, so it'll be like,
yeah. We shall see.
But yeah, if you have tons of money and you don't want to hear Chavs, highly recommend.
So how much longer until we get the thing that various Americans are always going on about with like Devox or something?
What's that?
With the force feedback chairs.
Oh, those. Yeah.
Awesome. What's that like?
Noam did get confused at one point, thinking, if they put speakers in the chairs, it's like, no, the sub's just that powerful.
It's so loud, yeah.
That's the next logical step.
Force feedback cinema.
Very, like...
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like that 4D cinema they have at Fort Park?
They spray water in your face.
Waters, and they have like air vents.
That was classic.
Just squirt shit at you.
It works surprisingly well.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But like,
given how early that they started rolling that out, given how long that's been there, that tech is quite impressive.
But it's only like a few seconds after you've been sprayed in the face by water that you realise it's really gross water, and the whole place smells kind of skanky because it's doused in skanky water.
Yeah, it's constantly wet, isn't it? The whole room is constantly damp.
It's horrid.
I wouldn't recommend tasting the stuff that comes out of a chair.
No.
Just in general. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good plan.
Free drinks!
No, just when it's about to happen, just put your mouth over the chair in front. Just give it. Rob can't afford Coke. Give me some of this.
Oh man. Yeah. That's hardly there.
Oh, but
That's what you need available to mop up all the moisture in that.
I was gonna like pad out some more with a totally high remark, but
Oh, I just saw an advert saying that the Book of Mormon is coming to London in like March or something. Can't wait to see that. It'll clearly be awesome.
the Book of Mormon.
Gaming news that I mentioned before we started. Starbound might come out at some point. It's looking like a game.
Starbound?
Yep. That's what it's called.
The Terraria.
Oh, yeah.
That was literally like 5 minutes ago now.
I do remember. I just, the name doesn't...
No, it hasn't
sense.
stuck yet. It's not like Terraria.
It's not it's not a catchy name. Starbound.
Well, it makes sense. From
Yeah,
the
it
context of
does.
the game.
It does.
What's the context?
You're in space. You travel between
I'm in
planets.
space. I'm in space. Yeah.
And it's like Terraria, basically. Apart from more. Better.
More betterer.
Yeah. Randomly generated everything.
What was the Terraria? What were the other Terraria guys working on? Because they moved on to something else, didn't they? All got picked up by a studio.
I can't remember. Because they were making, just recently there's that...
Or were they doing it for Xbox?
Well, there's a new patch for yeah. It's basically, I'm not sure whether it's those guys or whether they've passed it on to someone else, but someone's making an Xbox version of Terraria, but it's going to have like even more content than the PC one.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And they're not making the patch for the PC version, so everyone's super pissed.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Boo. I wish I hadn't remembered.
Yeah. So Starbound might come out maybe this year, but I'm betting probably early next year. Is my estimate.
GTA 5 is spring, I think.
You know what? Year. I still don't care.
I know you don't. It's going to be the best game ever, clearly.
SimCity, that's the...
Oh, yeah.
Fuck GTA 5.
No. That would be better. But still, SimCity would be cool. Hopefully. It does look a bit dumbed down in places.
How do you compare SimCity to GTA in terms of betterness?
I wasn't comparing it. I was just saying I'm not interested in that because it comes out in sort of the same time period.
Okay.
The worry is it probably won't come out on PC day and date. It'd be amazing if it did, though.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of hoping they don't, because normally Rockstar stuff seems to benefit from having a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
Iron out the kinks.
That's true.
Because GTA 4 wasn't a great initial release on PC.
No, that's true.
Well, and in fairness, GTA ports have never been particularly great.
The Vice City one's pretty good, and San Andreas.
San Andreas was okay. I mean, they didn't run as good as they should have done for what they were pushing out, if you know what I mean. The performance on that engine was pretty bad.
Yeah.
They worked fine on console, but on PC it wasn't great. You could run far more impressive open-world games. Yeah,
that's certainly true.
And put it side by side against GTA, and you're like, what is it doing?
But San Andreas ran a lot better on PC than it did on PS2. The draw distance on PS2 was just shocking. It
ran okay on Xbox.
Yeah,
San Andreas.
Yeah. But that you had to wait for that port, though, didn't you? That wasn't
straight away. Yeah. No, it was a PS2 exclusive for a bit.
Exactly. The GTA 3 port to PC is infamously crap.
Yeah, that was. Do you remember the weird motion blur effects they had
on the whole
entire
game?
Time?
Yeah,
it was totally weird.
Yeah, that game's quite hard to play anyway. But it's their first stab, I suppose, at 3D. So in a way, it was amazing. But still, it was like not a very easy game to play. Don't play that game now, basically.
Can we do a GTA 2 too?
You just want to go back to that retarded world of...
I don't care about the world. I just want a top-down GTA.
Well, Chinatown Wars is kind of like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be alright, isn't it? But, it's on a handheld.
Yeah, that's true. Play it on your iPad? I wouldn't. Yeah.
Also, what the hell is wrong with just doing a London one? I want to see a British GTA.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Is it not seedy enough?
Well,
I suppose hookers aren't legal.
That's not a problem, though, is it? Because the whole game is about doing illegal shit.
Well, yeah.
They made a London expansion pack for the original GTA. Yeah. But the thing is, they talk about London occasionally in the games, which kind of rules it out because they
name it something else.
Yeah, they always have fake city names for the American cities.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if it would work.
Well, they just put it logically just put it not in London.
GTA Blighty.
It would be like Manchester, the skankiest towns possible, Birmingham,
Scunthorpe.
But it's just not big enough city-wise. Like,
well, that's not necessarily a problem. I mean, there's a city centre and stuff, and you can exaggerate it to some extent. But then you could go out into countryside areas as well, since they're doing this whole thing with GTA 5 and the national parks or whatever.
That's true. London could work, or maybe. I mean, I think they're stuck now to going between those two locations of California
what about,
and New York.
Japan?
Yeah, but, someone else could do that.
Yeah, but that's Sleepy Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
Sleepy Dogs.
It just doesn't fit the franchise anymore. They'd have to just make a new franchise.
Australia.
Call it something else.
GTA Outback.
Yeah, well, not in the Outback. In, Melbourne or something. I don't know enough about Melbourne to determine whether that would be a good idea or not. How sketchy is Melbourne?
I don't know what will happen after GTA 5 in terms of the going to franchise. Because they've already done Liberty City twice, at least.
They should do one in Russia.
And then
that would be interesting, because they'd have all, mobs and...
Yeah, GTA Moscow.
Yeah.
Something would be cool.
Maybe.
But what would you call your fake Russian town?
Something Russian sounding.
Vodka.
Maybe they do a globe trotting one with lots of little cities.
Follow up the sort of stories style approach where they do little episodic stuff.
Well, have chapters in because then you could make it a big game and still have relatively slightly smaller cities.
Perhaps, yeah. Because sometimes I do wonder, about having just big open worlds because they become a bit of a drag to traverse.
Exactly. So if you had a bunch of smaller but still big...
Red Dead did that really well.
Red Dead did it, well.
But I always feel a little bit fatigued by an open world game after a while. I was trying to explain this to Gnome earlier today, actually, when I watched some stuff about Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help think to myself through it, the same thing that I think about Burnout Paradise. It's I prefer my games just to have focus rather than freedom, I think, to a degree.
I'm the other way. That's the difference between something.
Well, because I always feel like an open world experience is yeah, sure, you can do what you want, but it's never the caliber of that what you want isn't as high. It's never as high, nor can it be as high to a degree. It's because Burnout is a great example because the highly tuned stages that you got from everything up to Burnout Revenge were, they were pitch perfect every time. The courses were great and they were fun to drive.
That's true.
You put it in an open world and it loses some of that fluidity.
I definitely agree with you about Paradise.
And it's I find that a little bit with, I definitely find that with the GTA games that after a while the world thing just kind of gets a little bit dragging. It's I know the GTA games do that stuff the best, but I'd say Red Dead does it the best. But,
it's Rockstar, isn't it?
Yeah, but after a while, just the fact that it's an open world starts to drag, if you know what I mean. It's just getting from place to place. I mean, I have that problem with Saints Row as well, where it's and to be fair, Volition sort of open world stuff tends to be a little bit, it's they've got this big open world. Fuck all you can do in it, though, really, other than, fire a rocket at shit.
Yeah.
So they made a whole game about that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what I mean? The Red Faction has the exact same problem, isn't it? It's it's a big world, but you're either just driving across it or doing something in a very small space of it. They're kind of weird for me.
For some reason, I like downtime. Like when you finish the mission, but the game hasn't ended, but you're not in the new mission yet. It's I can relax, but I don't have to stop playing the game.
I know, but I prefer. I think games can do that with just stylish pacing.
Potentially.
Uncharted 3 is a fantastic example of that with the ridiculous desert sequence, and it's that is your downtime in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, if you do it right, but all too often with your CODs, it's just all on all the time.
Yeah.
And when I get to the end of the level, it's oh, man, I'm just going to stop now. Thanks very much. I mean, I could do the next level, but it's a bit of a commitment now to another half hour of insane or longer of insane action.
To a point.
Whereas with GTA, when you get to the end of craziness, it's oh, now I can drive to the next bit or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's careful, but then, as I say, after a while it just becomes, I'm just driving to the next bit.
Yeah,
and
that's where you need the... You made quite a lot of use of the fast travel in Red Dead, didn't you?
Once I discovered it existed.
Yeah. So I think
I didn't do it all the time, but it's once I knew it was there, then then it made that game a lot more enjoyable for me.
Skyrim has just instant fast travel, which you just use. I don't enjoy the traversal in Skyrim.
Well, then in Skyrim, a lot of the traversal is just
finding new areas.
Yeah, it's just discovering, just like finding places you're going to come back to rather than going to the one that you're trying to go to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I guess Saints Row has the slight advantage for me because you can make the traversal a bit more interesting because in GTA, like, getting the cops on you and stuff is usually kind of irritating.
Yeah.
And it's quite annoying.
Especially in modern GTA.
Yeah.
It's fun in GTA 2, obviously.
Whereas in Saints Row, most of the time, you don't give a shit. It's like, I can be driving a tank down the street because I have one in my garage that's 8-bit, blowing shit up with pixel bullets. And it's just like, this is just how I get about, yo.
Yeah.
And of course, you get the VTOL, like, halfway through the game, and it's like, I can go wherever the fuck I want, bitches. It's like, it just makes that stuff less of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still there. And it still janks. I think what a lot of games don't get right with that stuff is they don't make it that fun to traverse the world. Maybe Forza Horizon, I brought that up in a sort of bet. I didn't really know.
Yeah,
can't really talk
I mean,
about it.
Forza Horizon driving is fun in itself.
Because the model is so good in Forza. Yeah, it's.
I quite enjoy that. It's not a racing game model at all.
Forza.
It's not a racing game model at all, but I always quite enjoyed the GTA 4 driving model myself. I quite enjoy it.
It's really wobbly.
It is wobbly.
It's so hard.
The trouble with that is
it reminds me of a less precise vanishing point.
They give you the really wobbly cars right at the start because they're the only ones available.
The taxis. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, the taxis and stuff. But then the only high performance cars you get early on are muscle cars, which are even worse. And later on, you just get decent cars.
I have one of those sort of. It's an unpredictable handling system for me, GTA. Because you'll go into something seemingly the same way, and you'll have dramatically different results, or you'll suddenly slide. It's a bit hard to do what you want. I found
it's true. You can get a handle on it though. You can get to it's more predictable.
It's quite a hardcore driving model in a way because you have to be very analog, don't you? With it,
you do. It's strange actually. It's a kind of an odd decision, but I enjoyed it. Like if they'd made it super simple to just drive, like Sleeping Dogs probably does, or whatever, where you just put your foot down like a go-kart, then that would have got me quite bored.
Yeah, well, Saints Row and Red Faction had the opposite problem in that the cars they're not wobbly, but they're still a bit floaty and not very precise and stuff. It's like, that seems, I don't know. I know that it's like a massive challenge for those games to get every bit of them right because the scope is so big. But it's like, I think getting across the world has to be a major focus.
That's a major focus.
And it never feels like it has been.
It'd be interesting to see whether they change the driving model much for GTA 5 because they usually change it quite a bit between games. Like, it was different between 3 and Vice City and definitely between Vice City and San Andreas. And then different again
tweaks
for 4.
Rather. I agree with the jump from San Andreas to 4.
Yeah.
That was a big jump.
Well, actually, if you compare Vice City's handling to San Andreas, that is actually quite different. San Andreas is closer to 4, I think. Vice City's handling is really quite simple and arcadey, I guess. Not that it isn't fun, but
I guess it's too long ago for me to remember properly.
It's got less kind of physicsy throwing around stuff. They must have did a lot of work on that in between those games. Anyway, we shall see.
But yeah, open world. Still yet to be overwhelmed by it.
I know what you mean by downtime in like
whelmed at all.
Not whelmed. Like I think
I said overwhelmed. I didn't just say whelmed.
I think a good example.
Not this time.
Because open world. Well, but those Batman games kind of aren't. They're kind of small open world or something. They don't feel the same. You don't have that same problem with so much with, like, say, Arkham Asylum. Like,
no, I didn't have that problem with Arkham
Asylum. It's more like Metroid.
There is a bit of the traversal stuff, but they were very clever with it in that, whenever you're going over an area, normally something's different there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you have something new you can do there, which, is the Metroid thing. In Metroid, you're doing that all the time, and that does get tedious to a degree, but again, I think because the areas are so focused and so well thought through, rather than just being, a city block, where even in real life, no one's really thought that through. It's
that's true. Yeah,
it's just it's always fun to do. Each room has a slightly different thing you have to do, and it grabs you for longer.
I should say, in terms of linear games, where I want that kind of downtime thing that I'm missing. So some games do that well.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
Deus Ex is a classic, I think, in terms of it's got those sort of end of level bits where you run around your base and talk.
If your narrative's done well, then you can do that. I mean, Halo does that pretty good in places, doesn't it? Where it sort of like slows down a bit, and you'll have a few, relatively easy like face-offs, and there will just be time to sort of like drive around and look at the scenery and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And Halo's pretty good at its pacing, because it will do. They want to do the chapter thing as well, don't they? With the, or they have done in the past, where the letterboxing comes in and tells you a bit about what's going on. And stuff.
Yeah,
and, you get a bit of story break, don't you? At those moments, So you can do it,
certainly.
And I sort of agree with you for that.
So,
it's like if you're playing Geometry Wars. If you're going on a ridiculously long run, after a while it gets fatiguing.
Yeah, fatiguing. I think I get fatigued.
Like any video game.
But anything that's constant. If it's waved, then it's not. Then you can have at least a few seconds of "Oh my god!" But get your grip back.
So is that our discussion with news? Do you think with the news?
Yes, basically. Long live open world, fuck open world. It's still going, don't panic.
Okay.
It's okay. Recording's still working.
Okay.
There's no news is the news.
Yeah, it's slow news.
So moving on. Robert Kemp, what have you been playing? Is the question.
I played through Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Why?
Oh yeah.
Well, a bit of me was like, I feel like something retro, so I put in the Sega Mega Drive Ultimate Collection back into my Xbox. And realised that I'd never done it because I didn't have the achievement for it.
Well,
so it's like, I'm going to do it.
Well, the real question is, why had you never done that before? That's like one of the best games on there, probably.
I think that's why I haven't done it yet. It's because I've been trying to play the obscure stuff. Because I haven't touched Sonic on there, really, because I've played it to death so many times. And it's like, even if it is another copy of Sonic 3 and stuff, I've just, not had a need to. I played Golden Axe. That kind of stuff.
Mean Bean Machine.
But I play through Mean Bean Machine. I always think I look back at that game. I always do this more favourably than I think it deserves. Because the mechanics of the puzzle game itself are pretty solid. They're pretty good. Let's be honest. It's pretty nice. But the only way the single player is dumb, and the difficulty level of that game is dumb, and the controls are dumb. Like, the speed of the game means that it seems almost impossible for you to type the inputs you want. Like, I want this block to go here. It's like you know in your head fast enough what you want to do. It's just the controls don't actually allow you to do it. It's like you'll put it in the right place, and then for some reason it'll like sit there for longer than it normally does, and then you'll push a button ready for the next one, and then it'll shove that one again. It's like, oh fuck!
It's because it's got a really long pause before
it's got a really long. It's got a really long connect pause, and the rotation speed is slow, which compared with the speed of the drop is nuts. And it's got like rotation blocking, so you can't rotate it in any way if there's stuff in the way. Which means that by the end of the game, things are moving so fast that a lot of the time your rotation will be blocked, or it will jiggle it in a certain way, or the pivot point will be around which beam you're rotating will be. It's always supposed to be the bottom one, but sometimes because of the way it bounces off stuff, it looks like it rotates around the other one and stuff like that. It's like, because it's all so fast towards the end of the game, it just becomes impossible. And I think a bit of that might be because in the past we've played it on emulator more than we have done on an actual console.
Yeah.
And I think the keys make it far easier than you can pull it off on a joypad.
Well, or at least the kind of joypads you have.
Yeah.
Like if you had one of those Xbox controllers with the other type of D-pad,
perhaps. But it's not even just a D-pad. It's like sometimes I'll be mashing the rotate button knowing I haven't got much time to get this fucking rotating, so I'll be like mashing it in preparation, and the thing just doesn't rotate in its fall, and you're just like, fuck! I really wanted to do that, but it just didn't let me, and it's... The way to win in the single player is hope the AI fucks up, or get lucky with your combo timing in a way that it fucks up their combo.
That's the same way as every one of those games like COMs or whatever is, where it's just like it's not really about setting up combos, because unless you're super good at it, you're never actually planning for any of this to happen. You're just getting lucky and making a huge combo by accident.
And the mean bean structure of the game just means you just when you set something up, that one fucking beam
always lands in the hole.
in the precise place you need to activate your combo.
Yep, every time.
It's such a fucker.
Well, never play Tetris Battle Guide in then. That is the worst.
It
apparently.
is, yeah. It is pretty bad for that, but it looks hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I did it. It's still kind of cool in its own way, but yeah, I think it's more fun in multiplayer than it ever is in the single. And that's the same with any battle game like that. But you kind of have to just take it with the pinch that the majority of it is just going to be raw luck. Because even in multiplayer, there is a certain level of skill involved, don't get me wrong, and there'll be quite a lot of it if you play it at the speeds the fucking game runs at. But it will always come down to that where the game decides to drop that one fucking bean.
Yep.
That is the turning point. As soon as that happens, you're like, well, fuck. I'm screwed now. So yeah, I did that.
Did that? Interesting. Bit of Mega Drive, Mega something Drive Ultimate Collection.
Sega Drive Ultimate Collection. Played a bit more Williams Hall of Fame. Got some more Wizard achievements on that. I've got like 5 tables left to Wizard, so I'm most of the way through it. Quite a bit more Saints Row. Did Murder Brawl 31 on that.
Murder Brawl.
Which is pretty fun. All you need to know is that in the middle of it, you get a chainsaw and the music suddenly starts going, "You're the best, I'm the best, nothing's gonna keep me down." It's friggin' awesome. Yeah, it's pretty funny, that bit. That Saints Row does a fantastic job with I think I mentioned this before, the scripted story sequence stuff is hilarious. It falls short a little bit on the open world missions.
Right, yeah.
But what doesn't, really? It's,
That's Grand Theft Auto.
Fuck off! I fell short on so many of the open world stuff. It's like, yeah, I did have some funny glitches though. Like I managed to jump out of a VTOL and get my head stuck in a building, which is kind of funny. And it then decided to instead of put me on the ground nearby at that point when it realised that I was stuck. The game is pretty good and pretty aggressive when it thinks you're somewhere you shouldn't be and just wipes the screen and puts you somewhere clean. But yeah, I got my head stuck in the building, and it couldn't. Instead of putting me somewhere nearby, it just put me back at the HQ on top of the helipad. And it's like, oh, I'll do that again then.
Okay,
It's just convenient. It's fucking miles away, but it was like, oh, that's all right. I can get another aircraft now. That's fine. Yeah. So there's that. What else we do? Shit tons of Guild Wars.
Quite a lot of Guild Wars.
Yeah.
It was Halloween.
Yeah, the Halloween stuff went down. Blah. We went searching for the Mad King.
Yeah. Which was so. It started off where, well, there's the first thing that happens is you get this scanner thing, and you have to solve these riddles of that point you to places in the world, and then you go there and you get a thing, basically.
Yeah, you get a bit of story when you talked to a ghost of the world, and it would go and then, the memories of the Mad King.
Yeah. And then so that was the first thing that turned up on day one, and so we did those, and they were all quite they were. Well, firstly, they were quite easy, and secondly, they were quite nearby. And I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense, because it's they want everyone to participate in Halloween. But then, as it turned out, on day 2, when they did the second 6 of the memories, those were not in quite such friendly positions, where it was you have to go all a bloody mile away into a zone we've never been to before. And that zone is quite higher level than us. So we can't actually fight anything, we just have to dodge our way through.
Man, that was fucking annoying, that was.
Rob can't handle the dodge.
Well, your character is slightly built for speed, and
well, I do have slight.
Oh, really?
I have when I dodge, I get a little speed boost as well, because that's one of my character traits.
Oh, that's cool.
And Rob doesn't have, because he's saving his skill points for bigger skills. He doesn't have any of the engineer's potions that give you speed and evasion and stuff.
Oh, I probably could if I wanted.
You could, but you don't want to waste those skill points on that, or at least not yet.
I don't use elixirs, so it's
no, exactly.
Yeah, I'd rather not. And it just became a bit because you slow down when you get into when something starts targeting you as well.
Well, only when it hits you.
Yeah.
If they aggro on you and you manage to evade all the damage, you can still run at full speed.
Yeah, but it was just like things would throw long distance.
Well, there was some bastard enemies that had like grappling hooks where they just be like you'd sort of in anywhere near the aggro zone, and then they just go whoop and pull you straight in.
And then all of a sudden you're in the middle of a ton of guys, and you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm screwed now.
That was quite a pain.
And the game doesn't reward you for, like... At that point, they were so far over-leveled compared to us that the game doesn't even reward you if you get into a fight with some people and you actually kill the thing, because it's like, you're too under-leveled for this shit. I'm not rewarding you for that. You didn't do anything.
Or it seemed like it anyway.
Yeah. So that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, so it wasn't quite as friendly. Because, I mean, the other things that they also had was where, like, they had these haunted doors that would appear in the world, and then you could fight things that come out of them. And then sometimes you go through them and get into the Mad King's realm, and then there was, like, a special, like, labyrinth and, like, a special jumping puzzle, and then on the third day there was a special, like, boss battle in there as well. But all of those leveled you up to 80, so everyone was all 80, like in World vs. World.
I see, okay.
So, judging by that and the stuff on day one, I was like, oh, it's quite friendly to new people. They don't have to level up, they just have to be able to get to Lion's Arch. But then that second... Well, I guess that sort of made sense, because the thing that you got out of doing that second set of 6 memories was, like, quite a powerful bit of equipment, relatively speaking.
Yeah, the book, you mean?
Yeah, the book.
Yeah, the book's pretty neat.
Has some pretty decent stats for a back armour.
Plus, it's pretty cool. It's a giant flaming book that's on your back and has a slight light effect around you. So you can
use it as a torch.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. And a witch hat.
Yeah.
You get a witch hat for wearing in non-combat scenarios.
For doing Mad King Says.
Yeah, that was so dumb.
Learn all the slash commands.
Here's all the actions your character can do in a game of Mad King Says.
That's
Point. Ponder.
Yeah, ponder.
Act surprised.
The funniest one is when when Mad King says, say yes, and then, like, you actually have to type /yes, but quite a lot of people just type yes in the chat window.
Yes,
so you just see a load of people being like, yes, and like, no, that doesn't count. Wrong. Even though that is literally, it says, Mad King says, say yes, and that's literally what they're doing, but it's not what it means.
What does /yes do, normally?
Just like you nod.
Thumbs up. Alright.
The Asura laugh was a bit... I didn't realise there was a laugh command. But
you didn't know there was /laugh?
No.
How did you not know there
But
was
it's a little crazy, isn't it, with the Asura, because they sort of roll around the floor for ages.
Yeah, they do.
And the Mad Clock Tower.
Yes, the special jumping puzzle for Halloween.
It was like a speed jump puzzle. So
Yeah, that combines Rob's favourite thing. Guild Wars' dodgy jumping puzzles with a time limit.
And a shit ton of people doing it at the exact same time as you.
And of course, because we were playing Asura, we're tiny and everyone else is bigger than us, which makes it very difficult to see what the shit you're doing.
Right, yeah.
Especially if your room fills with Norns and Char.
Yeah.
Then you're in trouble, because they're enormous. It's like it helped a little bit when I targeted you and I could see where you were. And it's like, this is where I'm supposed to go.
Follow the pointer.
Yeah.
Because I'd already done it with my human character. I had enough problem on my human character with Norns getting in the way. Yeah. But on the human one, I ended up doing it until like 3 AM or whatever. And because it was so busy, because everyone was on during Halloween, I was on an overflow server. And because people kept filtering out of that into the proper server, so eventually there was only like 4 people left in the overflow.
Right, yeah.
And then eventually there was only me left in the overflow, and I was sweet.
But when we
when
we were doing it, we were in an overflow,
and there was still
full, and then people were staying there. I never got moved out of it, and it's
no. And I kept disconnecting and then ending up in a different overflow server and be like, is there more nods here or is there less nods here? Shall I go back to where Rob is or shall I invite him to this one?
Yeah. But succeeding that gave you some level 80 loot, so it's like, great, I'm not going to use that for a while.
Probably not even going to use that when you get to level 80.
I don't know. They're slippers.
Only they're not really slippers.
No, they'd be boot.
Yeah, they're just like boot things.
So yeah, Guild Wars is Guild Wars.
And Rob missed the big boss fight.
I did.
He missed the day 3.
Well, yeah, it was. I'm a bit annoyed with how they timed that, because it's like I figured that everything was going to, all the cool stuff would be on Halloween, but no, it was the day before
What?
you could do all that.
Weird.
And it's, and I was a little bit tied up that day, and then, but by the time I could have started playing it, it was a bit late, so I went and did something else. Like, I think I played pinball or something.
Probably.
Oh no, that was the night I started playing Mean Bean Machine.
No.
Yeah. So I kind of missed that, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah. So we played quite a lot of Halloween Guild Wars, and then we played a bit more regular Guild Wars. And we finally earned enough guild influence to have a guild bank by tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow evening it will be complete, and we'll finally be able to unload a whole pile of shit in there.
Good.
Should be nice. And we'll carry on playing that.
Extra story.
And there's going to be, apparently they updated the website they were using to announce the Halloween stuff, or the, page on their website that they were using to announce the Halloween stuff, got updated to be like, it shows that there's going to be events in November and December. I mean, presumably December will be a Christmas one, but November's going to be something else, another one-off kind of event thing.
I sincerely hope it's a Movember-related thing.
I don't think it is.
And the world goes moustache.
November. Tried to get a head start on that, but I'd give it a go, but I don't think it's going to work.
I don't know, I'm in two minds about, like going for it this year, because it's like my handlebar tash doesn't really work, because there's some slight, non-growy patches in the precise areas that it needs, that you can't really notice when it starts to get long. But if you're trimming it down to the area, there's like a strip of non-beardedness.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
Unless I just have a Botham or something.
Botham.
Or a Mansell. They're kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't know what you call them. Well, I didn't know.
Standard for start.
But I got an email from Past Times yesterday about, because they've released a Movember collection,
really,
of stuff.
What? What have they got to do with? Oh, because people in olden days had moustaches.
I guess. Yeah,
they
can make some sort of stylized, ye olde looking stuff. I guess with a moustache motif, like a leather notebook with a big comb on it that just says "How's it growing?" And
are they transferring to web only or something? Because they shut down in Ipswich.
Yes, they are web only now.
All right.
And a mug with the phrase, "I'd really love to stay and chat, but I really moustache." But they don't say moustache; it just has a picture of a moustache. But or with great moustache comes great responsibility.
So what else happened in Guild Wars was there were some patches, and there was quite an important patch where they made it so that the one of the Guardians, it was really dumb because we had, me and Rob on our character and my character that I was doing by myself had this happen a couple of times where you could find skill points that had got stuck.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like the enemy you were meant to fight wasn't there or is like disabled somehow.
Well, the enemy was there and just didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But it was like, but then, because when that happened to us, they fixed it by finding a Guardian with a specific skill to shove the NPC back into the right place to make it reactivate. But it's like, the thing there is that skill is actually what causes them to fuck up in the first place. Because it's a skill that can move NPCs, so they just get pushed into scenery or, out of their zone or something, and then they get stuck. Mm-hmm. So there was one skill point that I had where I was going for map completion in one of the late areas, and there was a skill point that was broken 90% of the time, because somehow some Guardian would always go there and fuck it up, before anyone else could even do it. But then they patched it so that now that skill no longer moves NPCs. So now they can't fuck it up, but they also can't fix it if that isn't the only thing that fucks it up.
There was that one, where a skill challenge enemy or something had been pushed into a log pile.
Yeah.
And it's like everything was saying, she's right here, but you just couldn't do anything because she's stuck in this log pile.
Yep, that's Guild Wars bugs. Oh, just today we found a place where you can get out of the level. Those are always fun.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those.
Where were you?
We were just in some,
the hinterlands.
Yeah, some centaur camp. There was a place where you could climb up on top of this tent and then jump over the cliff, and then it's like, oh look, I'm outside the level. Because basically...
We went to this area and it looked super suspicious.
Yeah, it's because...
they can't have set aside this entire area just for a shitty chest with crappy loot in it.
Well, that was the first thing that we thought was weird, but also because of the way that map looks. Normally, every area on the map is like a rectangle, because that's just how they are.
Right.
But on the top of this one, there's when you reveal when you've completed the map, there's like this bit where it's like very clearly not coloured in at the top of the map, where it looks like it should be an extra zone. And I was like, how do we get in there? We did find one secret area, but it wasn't that one. It didn't cover that bit of zone.
We found the Goonie area.
Yeah, we found the Goonies reference.
Awesome.
There's a pirate ship in a cave.
Oh, of course.
You have to go down a waterfall to get to it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So we went and did that, but then we were looking for this other one, and we found this place you could jump out of the level. It was like, well, I guess there isn't anything up here, conclusively proved by the fact that we can walk to the very edge of the map where the world just stops, and there's nothing out here, and the map doesn't update. It's rather convenient for proving that there wasn't anything secret there, and also dumb for running around and getting stuck.
Yeah, I got into an endless fall, didn't I?
Yeah, Rob very nearly got completely boned.
Yeah,
because if he had been stuck in an endless fall, he wouldn't have been able to teleport out because you can't travel while you're falling.
Yeah, the game basically thought I was falling the entire because I got myself wedged between the edge of the map and on a steep slope. So I was endlessly falling, but being stopped by the wall.
Right.
And then I tried to teleport out, and it goes, "Well, you can't do this because you're in combat." And it's like it thinks falling is a combat scenario.
Yeah, I see.
So it's like, oh shit, am I really stuck here? And then eventually it stopped.
Yeah, it just stopped.
So it's like, oh, I can actually walk out. Phew!
And then I walked all the way along the edge of the top and the right hand side of the map, and then eventually, it's really difficult to tell what's even going on because half the time you're walking through things because it's non-solid geometry and stuff, but there is another layer underneath that is the bit that you can walk on. But then eventually I just walked into a hole and was like, whoa, and then fall for ages, and then took like 60,000 full damage. I was like, well, I guess that's the end of that. Teleport out. So yeah, that was Guild Wars. It's always funny to find weird busted shit and
would have been
use rifle jumps to cheat on jumping puzzles.
What would have happened if I'd have got stuck there? Because if I logged out, would it have put me back in that spot because I would have been falling?
Yeah, that's quite a good question. What happens if you disconnect while falling?
Because it normally puts you back. You don't normally go back to a town or something. When you disconnect, reconnect, it puts you exactly where you were.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I was in a combat scenario or in a falling state, I wonder if it actually has a location for me.
Yeah, would have been weird.
So that could have been disastrous.
Oh, and they also, with the Halloween update, they also updated various other things, like made jumping puzzles their own section of the achievements. So now you've got jumping puzzles and Explorer as a separate thing, where Explorer is like going to specific places in the world and doing things, right, whereas jumping puzzles is the literal jumping puzzles. And there's another new section for like boss battles, doing specific things during boss battles. Which is annoying, because I definitely saw a couple of those achievements where it's like, I've already done that, of course.
But it didn't sound good because
it hadn't existed yet.
Yeah, that's a bit irritating.
I'm going to have to go back and do them if I want to get those achievement points. And I finished October's monthly achievements eventually. But November's ones look like they're going to suck. Because the reason I hadn't done October's monthly achievements before was that the last one just showed us question marks until the Halloween event turned up, and then it changed to like eat a shit ton of candy corn because it's the Halloween thing.
Yeah.
But the November one, the last two of them are question marks, and presumably they're both going to be linked to this new thing that's going to happen in November. But worse than that is like the third one, the second one of these achievements is like dungeon participation, which kind of sucks because I've only ever done like one of the dungeons, and those are the things you have to do in 5-man teams. So you actually have to go and find some other guys to go through with.
Yeah, I
mean, I could try and get the IRC people back into the guild that I'm in with them and do it there. But it's, if Rob wanted to do that, he couldn't really because he's only level 40, which means he could do 2 of the dungeons. Theoretically, and even then it'd be a struggle because you need to be over-leveled, really.
They're super hardcore, aren't they, really? I think you need gear that's a lot stronger than the level.
Well, in theory. I mean, you do get down-leveled to them. It's not like they don't go up to 80, they go down to whatever level they're at.
Yeah, but the stat boost is still proportional to your gear, isn't it? So if you have great gear, then it...
Yeah, but I mean, we're level 40, so we have at least 10 levels on the level 31, in theory. But apparently the Escalon Catacombs, the first dungeon, is actually meant to be one of the harder ones. So yeah, I don't. Not that Rob cares about monthly achievements. I sort of do, but I can.
No, I can't play enough to get them really.
No, I can always do that by myself on my main character. In fact, I really should, because I should probably, see all these dungeons at some point. They are part of the story, technically speaking. I haven't actually finished the actual main game story yet, because I never bothered. Mainly because of that one skill challenge that got stuck. And I was like, fuck this then. If I can't complete the map, I'm not going to go any further. But I've only got like one more area. It's a big one though.
So you're going to start like a third character or something then?
I've already got characters in all 5 slots. They're just
right.
in various... where it's got, like, my main is at 80, and then the one I'm playing with you is 40, and then I've got...
46, aren't we now?
Yeah, 45 or 46, and then I've got a ranger that's like 38, and then the Mesmer and Guardian are both like level 10, because I didn't really do anything with them. They're just there for bank space. To carry more shit. So yeah, Guild Wars. More of that. Always more of that.
Do you have to mail shit to yourself?
No, you have to send it through the bank.
To your other characters?
Yeah. You can't mail shit to yourself because the mail system works on the account name rather than the character name.
Mm-hmm. Could you not? Because you could mail it to yourself and it would just be in your inbox.
I don't think it lets you put your own name in there. I haven't actually tried.
You can do it with actual email.
But also, you can only you also like a weird system to sort of prevent that happening in Guild Wars 2 is that they only let you have 10 mails in your inbox at a time.
Mm.
So technically, you could send yourself a shit ton of stuff in the mail, but you'd only be able to access the last 10 things, and then you'd have to take them out and delete the mail to actually get to any more of them.
It's the next one, yeah.
And you can only attach 5 things per mail.
Still, you could probably do most of your inventory like with 50 items.
Maybe. But it'd be real inconvenient.
So that's Guild Wars.
Yeah, and we all played Team Fortress.
Yeah. That's true. Played a bit of...
Halloween.
What's the bloke's game?
Marasmus.
Who was invulnerable, pretty much.
Well, we got to that one server.
Yeah, we did it eventually, didn't we?
Did you?
Yeah.
It's not actually that difficult once
you get a group of players that are actually like dedicated to try and actually do it.
Did the teams actually like call a truce, and everyone fight it?
Yeah, well, there was one I was in where they didn't really want to fight at all.
Each other. They
didn't really play around. Everyone was just hanging about waiting for him to appear. And
I saw a patch note last night where they said they'd updated it to make him harder or something.
What?
Or maybe they'd made an easier version and labelled the previous one as hard. Apparently there's a different level, and the hat that you get from defeating him and going to the island records what level of him you defeated.
So what happens when you defeat him?
The same thing as when you...
Well, no, it's not quite as bad as what happened with Monoculus, because when you defeated Monoculus, a portal opened on his corpse, and you had to... you go through there, and then there's a race, essentially, across these little walkways and, jumpy blocks and stuff, and it was whoever got there first got the Ominomicon, or the Bominomicon.
Bominomicon, yeah.
And as an item. But this time, everyone who makes it just gets access to the that weird ram head thing that Marasmus was wearing, the skull,
another gun head.
Yeah,
but there's no level through there then in Marasmus?
No.
Unlike the
well, I assume you still have to run up to the thing.
Yeah, but it's not and you could theoretically still have a fight at that point. The teams could still face off.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to, but no one was doing that on our server, which is fortunate. We server jumped several times to try and find somewhere we could achieve it.
Yeah, somewhere where people were actually
trying to kill him,
getting the idea of the whole system down.
And I did get accidentally murdered. The first time we did do it, I got killed right at the end by someone's crit rocket.
Oh.
And it's shit.
Bad luck.
So yeah, and all that closes by the time I spawn. And then I did it to someone accidentally the second time. And it's like, we defeated them, so, and I'm just in the text, like, sorry man, that really wasn't the intention. Because he was pretty pissed.
Yep.
So that was that. That was pretty fun. Well, the randomization stuff was kind of cool. Whenever someone captured the King of the Hill point, and random shit suddenly happens, like the dance party.
Or not very random shit suddenly happens where 90% of the time, moon gravity!
Moon gravity, and then again, more moon gravity.
And also, they added a lot of speech for this as well, didn't
They did, yeah.
Gravity displeases me, so I'm removing it. You are now all gods. Yeah. It will work out badly for you. just wait and see.
Is that the correct one?
No, that's the one we've made everyone involved.
Oh, right.
Like
the most pointless one.
Yeah.
Everyone just look at each other for a while.
And it's like, yeah, some of the stuff he said to that, because he always sounded surprised that it happened. It was like, you're now invulnerable. What? Why did I put this on the wheel? It was pretty cool. T-Fortress! Woo!
T-Fortress 2. The 5th annual Halloween update? I don't know.
4th, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Because the first one was just that countryside level with pumpkins and ghosts.
Yep.
The second year was the Horseless Headless Horseman, and then Monoculus, and now we've had Marasmus. The mediocre wizard.
Magician.
Indeed.
Abominomicon!
The Abominomicon!
The Abominomicon has a stupid voice.
Yeah.
Hey guys! I heard you like bombs.
He's good covered in bombs.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's a nice head you got there. Now it's a bomb.
I like how when it's like all the tiny heads and stuff started going on. Like the one voice you could always hear during that was the soldier going, "It's so tiny." You would have thought the scout would have said, given that he normally says his head's so tiny.
Yep.
It's so tiny.
Indeed,
it's pretty great. I'm not sure I've played much else, to be honest. That was probably the lot.
Okay.
Bejeweled. Don't need to talk about that.
Moving on over. Zachary Burgess.
Yep.
What have you been playing?
What else have I been playing other than Guild Wars?
And TF.
Well, not very much TF. I keep thinking I should go back to it and play it more, but then I don't. I go and play other stuff.
Oh, we played Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, I guess.
We went back to that.
Not much to say about that either.
No.
It's just more Smash Brothers.
It's still awesome.
Plugged in your Wii. How were you thinking?
Yep.
It took a while.
You were thinking, let's play Excite Truck.
That's a pretty cool game.
So yeah.
I've got that theme tune in my head now.
I haven't. That's good. It's not distinctive enough for that to get stuck in my head.
It's just that bit. And then it goes into like stupid, like indistinguishable guitar. Excessive solo time.
Yeah.
I think there was one Azalea Banks track on that mixtape that I listened to, and talking about Excite Bike and various other video games. So I was like listening along, like, Excite? Does he really like Excite Bike? What? It's mysterious. I have to check the lyrics for that. Yeah. I think it was all video game references. And that, that Kitty Pryde rapper that I like.
Oh, yeah.
But her Tumblr is like Kitty Do the Dishes at Tumblr or something. But for some reason, her Facebook fan page, is facebook.com/Sonic Mega Collection. There you go. That's her fan page. Okay, it's totally awesome. Anyway,
yeah. I was trying to think what else I actually had played. I'm sure I got a ton of stuff to talk about, but now I've gotten it all again as usual. Oh,
XCOM.
Well,
I haven't heard much about XCOM.
Yeah, well, it's because we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
As Rob keeps saying.
Why, do you like it? Have you played it?
I haven't played it, but from everything I've seen, it looks pretty cool.
It is pretty great, but they have now officially said that they're working on a patch, so...
Are there
To
lots
fix
of problems?
To fix some of the problems that I talked about before.
I think I read that today. It might have come out today or something.
No, I haven't seen an update on Steam yet, so maybe.
What were the problems again? Remind me.
Well, all the ones that I talked about.
No, I can't remember.
Like, where you can't really see, like, the camera constantly jiggles and you can't really select the right squares on the edges ledges, and then there's the thing where shivs are almost totally broken, where they can just have no gun or be unselectable or get stuck in doorways, and aliens will randomly appear out of the middle of nowhere for no apparent reason.
Oh, yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Okay, that sounds like it could do with being patched.
Although apparently, judging by the initial patch notes they released about this patch, they're not actually managing to fix the teleporting aliens bug yet. Right. Shivs are in there, so...
Cool.
That's why I stopped playing, because I started playing a second run through and got to the point where I was just about to reset shivs and then was like, I really want to use these, but I can't because I know that they're broken at this point. Okay. So I should probably stop until the patch comes out.
They sort of worked. Like when you on our video, they worked fine.
Well, they work fine if you can get them into the mission unless you have the other bug where they spawn with like no guns or as a headless dude.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But on my situation, they work fine providing you can get them into the mission. It's like the problem with them in my save was that you can select them most of the time in the base. So you can actually get them to spawn at all. That was my problem with it. So if they fix that, I might continue playing.
So you like it then, broadly?
Yeah. Definitely needs patches.
Right, okay. What do you think of the base stuff? And the interception looked really basic.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of dumb and boring. Yeah. And irrelevant, really.
Is it just the combat that's like awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The actual missions themselves.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the whole...
It's a definite simplification of the original. But
well, I mean, the
original was kind of inaccessible.
Well, the original, if you compare the interception, it's basically almost the same, apart from in the original, it was like more based on...
Yeah, different bases across the world.
Yeah, but on the original, you could do slightly more tactical things, and you weren't limited, because in the new one, you can build like one-time use items that give your interceptors like extra evasion or extra attack power or whatever.
Right. So
that kind of sucks because you're like you have a limited stock of those. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the original, it was more to do with actual tactics, where it was like if you like get more than one interceptor intercepting the same UFO at the same time, you can use one of them as a distraction and then let the other one get in to do more damage, or depending on what weapons they have, determines what range you should try and engage at. Brilliant. Whether you should just go in hard and take a lot of damage and get it down or whatever. But now it's much simpler. But yeah, it's pretty relevant in either case, really.
And what about the base stuff in general, the sideways on base stuff? Is there any point to it? Is it just a glorified menu?
Well,
mostly.
Well, it has like the idea of the layout of your base actually mattering, where like adjacency bonuses and stuff. But it doesn't really, like in most cases, the adjacency bonus is almost irrelevant apart from the satellite uplinks. It's like that's the one thing that you need to...
And the power.
Well, to some extent. It depends it also depends on the random element of the randomly generated resources you get. Like if you get a lot of steam vents, then you can build the steam generators and they give you a lot more power than the normal generators. So that's like... can solve your power issues, but the satellite uplinks is vitally important because the satellites are the thing that stop them, you launch them so you can detect UFOs, but also stops the countries from panicking.
Right. So what do they have to be next to?
Well, other satellite uplinks.
Oh, I see.
It's like each satellite uplink lets you do 2 satellites, which is next to nothing.
Right.
But if you adjacency them, you get 1 extra per satellite uplink.
Oh, cool.
So you get like 5 for 2.
Right, that makes sense.
And then you only need 3 in total then, or...
No, you need a lot more than that.
Oh, right. You have more satellites per country or something?
No, you only get 1 per country, but there's a lot of countries. There's like 3 in North America, 2 in South America, 4 in Europe, 4 in Asia.
Oh, I didn't realise there were that many. I thought it was like superpower based. But...
No. So that's the main... It's like, it was like something that I realised, and probably quite a lot of people realised after their first run through, is like, practically all your money in the early game just has to go on getting satellites up as soon as you fucking possibly can. Because otherwise all the countries just start panicking and then they leave and then you lose all your funding.
Oh, I see. So that's what you have to do. Okay. Do you have to sacrifice countries and be like, fuck those guys?
Well, you probably kind of have to. It's difficult to get... I mean, this is only on normal difficulty as well, because on Classic they start even more panicked.
Right.
but on normal difficulty I got through only losing one right at the start of the game. And the second time through I haven't lost any yet, but I got really close to like losing. I'm pretty sure there was like 1 month where 2 of them were in full panic at the end of the month, but for some reason they just went down. I was like, okay. Maybe it's based on like your rating, maybe I got an A rating that month and then that prevents them from leaving or something. Whereas if I got a B rating or something, they would have left.
Are you trying a different difficulty on your second run?
No, it's still normal again.
Are you using that Iron Man thing or whatever?
No, I turned that off this time. After I realised that there were still all those dangerous bugs.
Oh, right, I see. Because that means you can't go back if it fucks up.
You can't go back if aliens suddenly spawn out of the middle of the ground. I actually made a live stream recording of me just playing some of that. That was probably before the last podcast, but I don't think I talked about it. But I made a live stream recording of me just playing a couple of missions, and that bug actually happened. But it was really ridiculous because it actually looks really weird in the video because the camera swings in because it goes into the dramatic camera angle because my guys go into Overwatch immediately as a muton just appears out of nowhere, and then as soon as my guys fire, the game crashes.
Oh no!
so I was like on the stream, you can see me be like, fuck, and then reload the whole game and go back into the mission. And then the really annoying thing was because it saved like the turn before that because it was also saving every action basically. But so I basically did exactly the same thing. And I set myself up for Overwatch, waiting for that alien to come through the mysterious underground tunnel or whatever that makes him just appear. But then, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I knew it could possibly happen. Still. So I just had to sit there for 10 turns just waiting to see whether the mutants that I could hear running around on the map would go through that same place again and happen. Tunnel. And then they ended up not doing it, and I ended up killing them all another way.
What does Overwatch do again? I haven't seen it.
It's just reaction fire. If anything moves,
you shoot it.
Yeah, if it moves into your range
during their turn
or your turn. If you move a guy up and discover aliens, and then they spread out. If they're spreading out, moves them into someone on Overwatch, they'll take a shot then as well.
Oh, cool.
Does
that still work if you push someone out of cover as a result of an action?
Oh, what you mean, with the flush ability where you can force aliens out? I guess it probably does, but that's not very likely to happen.
Mm.
And anyway, you don't want that to happen, really. On your turn, you want to Overwatch as the last possible action when you're certain you can't see anything else. Especially with snipers. Snipers always move everyone up first before, and then if no one is in view after everyone else on your team has moved, then your sniper can go into Overwatch. Because otherwise, one of your guys might find someone that the sniper can shoot.
You might want to shoot them.
So yeah, XCOM. I haven't played that at all this 2 weeks, and we still talk about it.
What have you been playing?
Well, another thing I've been playing, I played some more of FTL. Another thing we made videos of.
Yeah.
Scarp. Yeah, Scarp. Plenty of Scarp.
Played any of the different ships?
Yeah, I actually unlocked another ship as well.
Oh.
I've only got 3 more to find, and I'm pretty sure. Well, there's the Secret Sector one, which I think I have a vague idea of what the idea of that event is, because it's to do with the stasis pod, but I haven't found out what to do with the stasis pod. Mm-hmm. And then the other 2 ships, which is the Mantis ship and the Slug ship, I'm pretty sure both of those you have to do something with boarding parties, because they seem to suggest, I didn't really notice, but in the description that gives you, the ship description that gives you a hint of where to find the ship. Mm-hmm. It says, convince. You have to convince them to help you in inverted commas. And it was oh. And then I realised that probably means, direct ship, teleport on board their ship and beat them up.
Them. Oh, right. Okay.
And then, once I sort of started to realise that, I started specifically trying to do runs where I went for teleporters as soon as I could. Because unfortunately, none of the other 6 ships I have start with a teleporter. And I assume the Mantis ship is going to start with a teleporter because that's their basic tactic, because the Mantises are good at hand-to-hand combat. Mm-hmm. So they almost always have a teleporter and just beam directly onto your ship. So I started making runs where I just went teleporter as soon as possible. It turns out that's actually quite an effective tactic. If you can pull it off and get the right equipment for it, you can be like super effective with only two guys transporting onto their ship. Preferably 2 mantises, if you can get a hold of them, because they're super good at combat. So I did this, and I was having like this. It was basically the best run, and it turned out to be the best run. But I was having this awesome run where I found really early. I got the teleporter. I got like the scrap recovery arm where you get more scrap. I got the hull repair arm, which uses some of your scrap to repair your hull, but is almost perfectly balanced by the scrap recovery arm. So it's just like 3 repairs. I had the drone recovery arm, so once I got drones, I didn't have to worry about losing up my drone parts. And I had the teleporter, and I had 2 mantises, and I got both of them to like maximum combat level. So they were like totally destroying everything. And so I found the event with the dude who you're meant to convince to tell you about the ship, the Mantis ship. And then like I was like, oh shit, I actually get to see this. Beamed onto a ship, killed all his dudes. Although it was really ridiculous because I killed all his dudes, and at some point I like randomly fired at their ship. I didn't even notice because I was paying too much attention to the fighting that's going on. I fucked up their oxygen supply, and because I was fighting them, they weren't being able to go and repair their oxygen supply. So as we were fighting, the whole of the ship was just deoxygenating, and I was like, oh fuck! And I didn't notice until like the last possible moment that was happening.
Yeah.
And so like, literally as I killed the last enemy, it pops up this window that's like, Where's the dude you were meant to find? Holy shit, we haven't seen him. Teleport more dudes onto those, and it doesn't actually mean teleport more dudes, it's an event that,
right.
It's like blue text means it's using a special ability of your ship or of your crew, and it's like, because I had a teleporter, it triggers that option.
Made it go blue, right.
Yeah. So it's like, teleport more dudes onto a ship and look for the guy, and you find the guy, and he's like dying, and he's like, go to this place, and you'll find this thing, and I was like, sweet, get that ship. And then, so, at that point, I realised that the whole ship was deoxygenated, and my 2 dudes were still over there, and were like on no health because they'd just been fighting. So I was like, really quickly, close that message, pause instantly, and then set up the teleporter, and like, my guys teleported back, and one of them had 1 health. I was like, holy fuck. That was about as close as you could possibly get.
Put that guy to med bay, make sure he doesn't trip.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, nothing could go wrong at that point, because my ship was fine. But then after all that, I did all that, got the thing that told me where to go, went there, and it just gave me a tiny, shitty weapon. I was like, what was I meant to do differently? That was the perfect solution to that event.
After all that?
I was trying to work out what it could possibly be. But I seem to remember one of the other times I found that guy before I realised it was a teleporter type thing. I shot him normally, but he flew away and then got into a different ship. And I'm thinking maybe you have to like shoot him in the first one to force him to retreat, and then go to the second one, and then maybe board that one or something.
Maybe.
It's a big old pain in the ass though, because the whole teleport plan does rely on like finding the right stuff.
Mm.
But then as it turns out, after that I went towards the end of the game. I got to the end of the game, and I was just like totally killing shit really easily.
Murderizing.
Because of this ridiculous teleport plan. I had so much scrap metal, I had like almost fully upgraded everything I could want, like maximum shields and maximum engines. And I upgraded the teleporter as far as it could, and I'd even put like another level into medbay so they could heal faster between teleports. But then I got to the last boss, and I was like walking it mostly until the last possible moment where I realised that in the last part of the boss, it has like super shields, and you can't teleport through super shields. So my main assault plan was like completely boned, and I had like crappy weapons on the rest of the ship, so I could actually get rid of the super shield fast enough by the time it was recharging it.
Oh, no.
And I was like, well, fuck. And then I just died. But I died, and then on the high score table, that was my best score ever, and it wasn't even a victory. It was like, it outscored all my other victories, but I just failed on the last bit. Which was pretty ridiculous. So yeah, that's never going to happen again.
So you need a few more weapons.
Yeah, apparently. That was the only flaw in my awesome plan.
Your amazing plan.
If I'd had a couple more guns, or maybe if I used the guns that I had a bit more cleverly, because I thought I was going to get away with it just using one gun, but it wasn't quite fast enough. And then as soon as I failed to take down their super shields on like the first attempt, yeah. I was just taking so much damage that I had to like constantly be doing damage control and not actually paying attention to what else was going on.
That's annoying.
So yeah, that sucked. And that was FTL. Still going to get those last 3 ships, maybe. Although I don't know about the slug one. I mean, I don't think I've seen the start of that event. I don't think I've seen the guy I have to see to talk to about it.
To get the slug one.
Yeah.
Slug one?
The slugs are a race.
Uh,
And that was FTL.
mm-hmm.
I'm sure there was something else. Well, just like yesterday, or Halloween, I guess. Was that yesterday?
A few days ago.
Couple
It
of
was
days
Wednesday,
ago.
wasn't it?
So, like, there was a Halloween sale on Good Old Games, and I was like, holy shit, I can buy a cheapo and works in modern Windows version of Worms and Worms 2.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, yeah,
Did
get
it have the
them.
original videos in Worms?
Yeah, the really terrible
Really
videos.
terrible videos.
FMV, as they're labelled in the credits.
Full motion videos.
So,
Does it
yeah.
have all the stupid music player thing? The
Well,
options.
yeah, sort of.
With all the stupid musics.
Not all of them.
Really?
Well, it's because the actual Worm song, the one with the lyrics, yeah, that one wasn't actually ever in the game. That was like a hidden track on the CD.
Alright.
No, there was I swear there was an option in the menu to play it.
No, that's a different version of that song that doesn't have the full lyrics. It's like a funkier version.
Oh, was that from Worms Reinforcements?
Well, Worm, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe
Yeah,
they didn't.
might be
Maybe they probably
Reinforcements.
they probably had the button to play the song in Reinforcements, didn't they? But not in.
But it
The
wasn't the
original.
right one. That's
No, it was a different mix. It was
Yeah.
a dance version.
So yeah, that's still in there.
Does it have reinforcements? No.
Yeah,
Oh, it does.
it's just, it's not really. That's the thing about Worms Reinforcements it's kind of easy to forget is that even though it was like what you might call an expansion pack, it really wasn't. It was more like what you would call a patch nowadays.
Yeah.
It was like add like 3 weapons and some sort of terrain generation options. So yeah, played a little bit of that. We could make a video of it.
Probably should. It'd be pretty funny.
Yep.
Given how much I suck at worms.
Classic prod.
Yep.
Prod.
The most lethal weapon.
And
Prod them onto mines.
it's all fireballs and was it Hadouken and stuff?
Yep.
What's it called?
Dragon Punch.
Dragon Punch.
No, wait. Fire Punch.
Fire Punch.
Yeah, it's Fire Punch and Dragon Ball.
Yeah. So there was that. And I'm sure there was another thing. But once again, I've completely effing forgotten. Which is really annoying me.
From Good Old Games.
No, not from Good Games. I also saw that they, immediately after their Halloween sale, they had his November sale, where it's like, get EA games for cheap, so it's like Dungeon Keeper, or Dungeon Keeper 2, or
Nice.
Populous, or Theme Hospital, or SimCity 2000. And I was like, I already own all these games, and they actually all still work, so don't need to worry about those. I was thinking of, if it ever goes on sale again, I might actually get the full proper version of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Oh, cool.
Because I already got off there, I already got Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and its expansion, because that's clearly the better game, but it would still be nice to have Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Because, I mean, I tried playing Roller Coaster Tycoon before, but as I think I mentioned it at the time, it works fine, and then it just randomly crashes after a while.
Oh, no.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's lame. The one you buy off Good Old Games?
No, my actual disc copy.
Oh, right, your real copy.
Yeah.
Some kind of weird memory leak or something.
Yeah, probably. And in other news of games I'm not playing, still, Dwarf Fortress. Still not playing it, but they've still been I've still been reading the ridiculous updates.
What's going
To
on
keep
in the
me
world of Slaves to Armok 2?
Yep. They've updated trees now so that they're not just one icon. They're actually like, they're actually a 3D thing
Okay.
that exists with different parts and like leaves and shit.
Oh, awesome. On different levels.
Yeah, on different layers. And apparently it's like, to go along with trees, you can now climb. So it's like you can actually grab vertical surfaces and travel upwards and stuff. And the whole point of the trees was like it was meant to lay the foundation for elves to actually have
cities and trees.
Yeah, basically, because that's what they were meant to be before. Except that didn't actually exist in the world generation of Dwarf Fortress. It was just like when you go to, if you look on the map and go like, oh look, there's an elf town, and if you go there, it's just a bunch of elves standing around in the wood.
Oh right.
It's like they don't actually have any buildings or anything. But now that there's proper trees, they can actually have tree houses, I guess, built into the trees.
Yeah, like Kakiri style.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, that will be happening. More ridiculous dwarfingness. Elves. And the other thing that they added was another more completely unnecessary and ridiculously complicated systems. Now, like, when like any animal or anything is travelling around the world, it leaves tracks, and you can actually look at the tracks and determine what type of animal it was and where it was going. And like, so you can follow enemies or whatever, or avoid patrol farms. It's like another ridiculously complicated system.
How does tracks show up in the world? Jesus.
Well, presumably it doesn't unless you like look at the square, and then it'll probably say like the usual way where it's like, here's what the type of mud it is, here's the type of grass it is, and then it'll probably say tracks. And then you look at them, and then apparently it brings up a little picture where it's like, it's a human foot track.
Jesus. So complicated.
Yep.
And hilarious.
Yep. So yeah, Dwarf Fortress might actually get patched again at some point, maybe. Did I already mention Minecraft?
No.
That was the other thing I've been playing. There we go.
Got
back to it eventually. There was another patch where it was basically, well, they labelled it as a Halloween patch, but it's really just sort of coincidental that it came out on Halloween. But then, fixing some more of the stuff since they did that transition to single player and multiplayer being the same thing, architecture. But yeah, there's a little bit of new stuff like potatoes and carrots instead of just wheat as different farming options.
Cool.
And like various other little adjustments. And the thing that they always promise where when you make a nether portal to go into the hell dimension thing, now things can actually go through there other than you. So, like, enemies can come from the nether into the real world, or you can fire through the portal, and then, like, the arrow maintains its momentum or whatever. Which seems completely pointless, of course, but it's cool.
It'd be hilarious if you could set up, like a chain, because you could. The idea was that you could use the nether as fast travel, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Or you could set another portal up, and then, like, somewhere else in the world, and, like, attack stuff from a
mile away. Fire an arrow through one portal, and then it goes through the nether and into another portal, and then flies back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be super ridiculous. But yeah, despite all the Minecraft-y patches, it was still acting weird when I was trying to mess around with it. I was basically trying to generate lots of terrains to look for one that would look for one that I wanted to start on, one that I liked. But I was also switching it between generating. Well, the thing was, I was looking for an NPC village relatively near the starting point. That's what I was after.
Right.
But one way to do that is because when you do the seed, you type a number in for the seed because it's one of those random thingamajiggles or whatever.
Yeah.
You type in a number and it generates it from that. But if you set the landscape type to this super flat world where it's just basically a testing area, you can have it still generate NPC villages in the super flat world, and they appear at the same XY coordinates they would if it was a normal world. So you can generate a super flat world, look around to see if there's any NPC village in view, and then if there is, you can use that same seed, generate a normal world, and there'll be an NPC village at that same location, providing it's in the right biome, which means most of the time it isn't, but you can still find villages relatively quickly that way. So I was doing that and generating loads of villages, but it's clearly another classic Minecraft memory problem where after a while, when you start generating a lot of maps and then just deleting them and then generating a new one and then deleting them, it starts having a lot of chunk generation errors where sometimes I generate a normal world and they're just like the world just ends at the edge of a chunk and it just drops down to a super flat world at the bottom. It's like it hasn't unloaded those chunks properly. Wow. So you just got gigantic vertical square holes all over the place, which is kind of cool.
It's kind of funny looking.
But totally ridiculous. And it's like, that is some weird fucked up memory allocation problem you've got there. It's obviously not designed to be making a lot of generated maps over and over.
Weird. You'd think it's garbage collected, isn't it? It's Java, isn't it? You'd think it'd just clean up everything.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, they've just reused the space.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, I did some of that. And then I actually played a bit of Minecraft as well after I made all those maps. Found an NPC village. And started... Because I never really... Well, I guess I hadn't really played the update when they introduced like NPC trading, where the NPCs actually had a reason for existing now, where you could actually trade with them and get special resources and stuff. So I started looking into that, which is why I wanted to find this village. But then I had the classic sort of Minecraft / any game that I have this problem where it was like, this randomly generated village is too random. I must normalise it and make everything perfectly square.
Yeah, everything straight. Yeah, okay.
So I spent a hell of a long time just like demolishing all the NPCs' houses and then rebuilding them
slightly. Yeah,
so they were all nicely aligned along the roads.
Genius.
It's a good way to waste a lot of time.
Yeah, it's certainly true.
But also
the random seed stuff was it the original version of Worms that had like you could type?
Well, Worms and Worms 2 both have it.
Yeah,
you can type words or numbers into the terrain generator and get different stuff.
Yeah, so you could like it sort of generated the same thing each time. So you could like if you had typed in a phrase that you liked, and it made a nice level, you could type the same phrase in and it would come up with the same level.
Indeed, it does.
It just hashes your phrase and then uses that.
Yeah.
Yep. So we can totally do that when we record our Worms video.
We can do the Saladcast level, see what it comes up with.
Play on it regardless of how terrible it is.
Yeah. I seem to remember on the Amiga version of Worms, because it took a long time the Amiga version took a long time to generate the level.
Yeah.
But it would do it visually, so you could see it build the level. And I seem to remember, like, the vast majority of, like, commands and stuff would always generate those fucking 2 island levels.
Well, that's because really that's the only sort of levels there were in Worms 1. It was either 2 islands or 1 big island. And the 1 big island is something I didn't really remember until I went back and played it again, but on, like, the 1 big island levels, the map just stops at the edge of the screen. And, like, if you even slightly just walk off, you just die.
Yeah.
It's quite possible to have land that goes right up to the literal edge of the world.
Yeah. Because they sort of moved away from that in 2, didn't they?
Well, they just made it so the islands were always islands, and then there was just infinite water beyond it.
With the exception of the cave levels.
Well, yeah, that was a special setting, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll play that, I guess.
Minecraft. Yeah. Indeed.
We'll play Minecraft. No, I'll play Minecraft. In preparation for playing Starbound.
Which is coming out this year, maybe?
I think maybe.
There'll be something before that.
I don't know. What else is there this year?
Halo 4.
Exactly.
All the big guns.
Halo 4.
COD Blobs, Assassin's Creed 3. Which I might play. Well, I will eventually play. I don't know if I'll get straight away.
Top tip. I've seen Assassin's Creed 3 available for £20 on PC.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
I can't remember, but it was I've seen it on the webs.
Okay, sure. Well, that makes sense.
Top tip.
Is it on Steam? Will it be in the Christmas sale? Probably.
Probably not for that much.
No.
Not for 20
much
quid,
of a
no.
reduction.
That's true.
It was a disc copy, but yeah, that's probably Steamable.
Yeah, we shall see. Indeed. So that's what you've been playing? Yes, Zig?
Yeah, I guess. I still feel like there was more, but I can't remember, so never mind.
So what have I been playing? Well, we talked about TF2.
Yep.
Played a bit of that. Last weekend, I was kind of bored, so I bought Mark of the Ninja.
Woo!
So I've been playing that a bit. Although this week's been crazy, so I haven't played it since then. But I can tell you a bit about Mark of the Ninja, if you're interested.
Yeah.
It is a stealth game. 2D.
Yeah, I got that much.
I'm keen on stealth games, so I thought it was going to be pretty awesome. And I am enjoying it. It's good. Although it's pretty hard already. Like, I'm playing it on normal or whatever. Not that would make any difference. I don't know what difficulty setting would... Don't know if it has difficulty settings. Maybe. They could change the tolerances of, like, how...
I guess. Like,
I suppose you could turn off some of the sort of helpers it has. Like it has sort of visual, like, ripples for the noise in the environment and stuff. And visual cues for... It has no, like, light meter or anything. Like, the cue is just you're coloured in when you're in the light, and you're, like, black and white when you're out at the light, which is most of the time, you better hope. And I guess it does simplify things quite a lot because it's 2D compared to like your Splinter Cells or your I don't know,
fucking Metal Gears.
Yeah, I'm a big Splinter Cells fan, but you do have to have a lot of patience for that sort of thing. Whereas this one, I don't think it would try your patience too much yet. Like you definitely need more patience than your action games. Obviously, you do have, but there's not so much waiting for patrols to like go the right direction. It's more like, I don't know, just traversal of the world is quite snappy because you can basically cling to any surface because you're a ninja, and you've got a harpoon, what's called grappling, like Batman style or whatever. And you've got various devices for like distracting guards and moving them, and smoke bombs, which because there's a lot of it's not just guards. There's a lot of sort of laser traps and things, kind of Deus Ex-y style, I guess.
So you have to either confuse the traps somehow, or do you just traverse to avoid them? Or
well, sometimes you have to find switches, and sometimes you have to like that. You can like hide in like pots or in doorways or stuff, so you can blend kind of sometimes, and sometimes you have to kind of blend and wait for a laser to pass over, and then move to the next cover or whatever. Okay. But that's all quite snappy. It's not like, oh god, press the button, because you can like transfer between covers by just hold and press one button. So that's quite nice. And there seems to be there's quite a lot of variety in sort of objectives. Sometimes you have to, switch on a bunch of machines or something, or whatever it is. But there's a big bonus at the end of the level. Well, there are lots of bonuses. It tots up your score and everything. Time, I think, is taken into account. And there are like achievements for individual parts of levels, which are like seals, which count towards your score, I think. But there's a massive bonus for not killing anyone. But I think that is the part of the frustration. Because that really is quite hard, not getting spotted. Well, it's not because it's like you have to keep... I mean... The checkpointing is extremely generous, which is a big relief because
that's incredibly helpful.
Do end up like going over and if you're trying not to be spotted, you will be retrying areas over and over and going, God damn, go restart from checkpoint. But so because obviously it makes it a lot easier when you kill people because it just removes that point of discoverability that guy can't see you anymore, so you can deal with the rest. And killing people is all you do is you get up behind them and you press X, and then you have to do a little quick time event, but it's just left or right depending on what it says, and X again. So it's like it's more than just press one button and they instantly die, but it's not some elaborate routine. And if you fuck it up or they still die, it just makes noise.
I see. So it's a non-silent takedown. Exactly,
and you get less points. You get points for everything. You get points for like moving past a guard without them noticing the first time. It just says undetected bonus, which is kind of cool. But then there are different kinds of enemies. More hardcore ones that are harder to take down and stuff. If you actually end up in combat, I usually restart from checkpoint, but you can fight them and survive and go back down to alarm status 0 or whatever. But there are dogs, and they can sniff you out. They have a really long range of sniffing, and they're basically impassable. It's really you have to find a way around them because they're unlike humans. Humans' range of vision is quite low especially if you're not in the light. But dogs can sniff you even when you're in the hiding, like if you're hiding in a pot, and they can. Yeah, they're really annoying. I don't know how. Maybe there are different ways of dealing with them with the equipment in the future.
Some kind of long-range dart or something.
Exactly, but they are kind of annoying. Yeah, but it's cool. I like the art design is quite nice, and the levels are quite nicely put together that I've seen so far. And you have a kind of a female ninja lady who's like giving you your objectives, and she's quite nicely voiced. And it has some kind of cool sort of anime-inspired, sort of Western anime, Samurai Jack style animations.
Yeah.
Like in between the
it's definitely the same style that they've used for Shank.
Yeah, it's the same style. Yeah, but I'm enjoying the gameplay. It's pretty cool.
It does look pretty interesting.
It's nice.
it's like it might be this year's sort of Outland, I suppose, for like good 2D platformy sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like well, I mean it more in the sense of like a sort of another genre blend for 2D platforming, because Outland was kind of the Metroidvania crossed with a Carragher kind of sort of like weird mashup type game that ended up working insanely well and was nicely stylized. And then this kind of feels the same thing. Let's do a stealthy Metal Gear mashup in 2D.
But it makes total sense.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Works. But I mean, it's obvious. Like once you start,
I suppose it's not been done. It's not that it hasn't done before. Because some of the old Oddworld games, I suppose, had an element of stealth about them.
Yeah, sure, potentially. Yeah, stuff like that.
Just getting spotted generally meant you were shot immediately.
Yeah, you die really fast in this if you try to do combat. But there are upgrades to make you more effective in sort of normal combat, I think. But I tend to go for the stealthy ones. Like you get upgrades for different types of kills, kind of like in Batman and in Arkham City. But like kills from above or from behind a door or that you can't do at the start of the game, but then they become possible. But you don't need any of them to get through.
I see.
I don't know if you get different weapons, but you start with a big sword that just stabs people to death. So,
it's like, do you need anything else?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, if you're,
do you need, as I say, long-range sleep darts?
Yeah, well, that'd be great. If you don't want to kill anyone, any kind of incapacitating weapon would be great, but I don't know if they exist. I haven't found any yet that cause knock people out but don't kill them. Because that was the thing about Splinter Cell, is you could always knock people out and not kill them.
Yeah, I suppose like incapacitating is essentially the same thing as
death,
killing them in terms of gameplay mechanics. Yeah. So it's perhaps there's the point. Like perhaps by not including them, they're actually just.
Well, the point of Splinter Cell was it was harder to do, right? Because you could just shoot someone in Splinter Cell with a silent weapon, and then from quite far away, not miles away, but
until they went all Call of Splinter Cell.
Yeah, exactly. What mark your targets and all that craziness these days? Yeah, I don't know why. But speaking of which, I should probably play that since you gifted me that.
See if it's any good at all.
Yeah, I was a bit sceptical from the demo, but it's worth a go, isn't it? But yeah, it's pretty cool. Should check it out.
Mark of the Ninja. That's just reminded me. I was going to contemplate picking up that Dust and Elysian Tale for my platformer fix of the year, I suppose. Then again, I guess we've had quite a lot of contenders for that. I suppose Fez has been about, if you count that, and
Fez would win if you count that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or Trine. I suppose I started playing. I haven't touched since I first played it, so that's kind of platforming.
Trine 2 still.
Yeah,
is Fez up for our game of the year? Thinking about it.
I'm contemplating it, to be honest. It's probably going to feature in quite a few categories.
Interesting. Can it beat XCOM?
Or Guild Wars.
Well, that's not that far away, is it? Shit.
No. But we normally do it in January anyway.
That's true.
And I think, if we've ended up end up having a lot of games from this year that we haven't got around to playing, then perhaps we should give ourselves a little leeway to at least taste them.
We'll see where we get to. Anyway, that's pretty much what I've been playing. I haven't delved into many other things because of all the craziness going on. And a long, crazy walk to work. Never mind.
Didn't consider getting a bike then?
Well, consider it, but I don't know.
Was there not a bus route from the green buses don't go that way? Or?
No, well, if you
Cambridge,
you could take 2 different buses, but it wouldn't be that much quicker than walking. So, although you wouldn't have to put in the physical effort of walking, of course.
Yeah. But even so,
Cambridge.
I've been enjoying my zero commute time.
Yeah. What is literally? It's closer to your bedroom than the bloody living room. Your office.
I have woken up a few mornings at 9 and gone, I'm off to work.
Really?
Bye, honey. I'm off to work.
And then I'm at work.
I made it here safely. The cat didn't attack me on the way. It's kind of funny.
Working from home. Oh, yeah.
Man, till more than 5.
You don't have to remote in anymore because your machine is literally there.
I have my machine, yeah. Oh, we have to do a lot of stuff remotely still, but...
Do you just connect to a VPN?
We don't have a server. There's no domain.
Oh, what? What the fuck's going on with your place?
We have no domain, so none of that works. Everything's all done in cloud services, so the code's up on GitHub.
Seriously?
All the servers are run by Rackspace.
Whoa.
And other clients. So all of our stuff is...
It's your mail or webmail?
Our mail is web-powered, yeah. It's
crazy.
We have no centralised
No domain
storage.
controller.
Yeah.
Do you have continuous integration?
We have a build server.
Oh, you do
in
have
the
a build
cloud.
server. Okay, it's in the cloud. Okay.
So it's all come together pretty well.
It's insane.
Given the fact that none of this... Well, we're still thinking of having build agents, perhaps, as a physical box somewhere, because currently that has to... The build server still initiates build agents to happen on, like, the dev machines.
Oh.
Which people have.
That's not...
It's not ideal at the
not
moment,
good, yeah.
no. So we're still thinking of setting up a dedicated build agent somewhere. But
stick it on Azure or something.
yeah, we're thinking of perhaps putting it in, like an Amazon Elastic Cloud box. But
that worked fine.
Yeah.
I'm used to AWS. It's quite nice. Well, the UI is a bit shit, but ironically, given it's Amazon.
yeah, but we may just put a physical box in a convenient location.
Indeed. Anyway.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. We don't have anything.
A network.
We don't have anything.
Insane.
It's like a group of freelancers somehow working together.
Pretty much. Work. So,
At the end of the podcast.
just about.
It better be, because apparently we've run out of things to talk about.
Yeah, we're talking about work. I mean, oh my god. Well, hang on. Wait, when does Wii U comes out in like a week or two?
Yeah.
That's it. Shit.
But we don't care.
No, not straight away, but it'll be interesting to see how much of an impact it makes.
Interesting. What's your prediction? None? Minimal?
I think it will probably do all right because their window is pretty good. You know, the timing in the year is nice for, you know, run up to Christmas. It will probably run on the back of the Wii quite a lot, as in people who bought into the Wii who weren't necessarily gamers may look at the Wii U and go, but it'll be more, right?
Do you think?
Right? It'll be better than Wii.
Or will they be like, I had a
But
Wii, I haven't used it for like 2 years.
Yeah. I know people that have literally only just picked up a Wii still.
Right, yeah.
So it still carries some weight
Cachet.
in the casual market.
Yeah, fair enough.
Even if the software that they put out for it has kind of stopped
Yeah.
and has been kind of dead for the last year.
Yeah, it's died faster than the other consoles, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose their next generation console has come out sooner.
There's really not been anything interesting for it for a very, very long time. Apart from Xenoblade, I suppose, but if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not convinced it will carry quite so much power as it did before.
I don't think it's possible.
I think people are going to get a bit confused by the new tablet design.
Yeah.
And besides that, Smart Glass launched. So,
yeah. That's out.
So that's out.
Is Windows 8 out? Everything's out, is it?
Yeah,
Windows Phone
that's
8's
out.
out.
Surface is out. Well, no, Windows Phone 8 technically isn't out yet.
All right.
None of the handsets have released.
But they talked about it.
Yeah. That comes
What's it got
out
that's
soon.
new? Other than the fact that the kernel's actually Windows 8 rather than fucking
Windows Phone 8.
piece of shit old stuff.
You know what? That's kind of tricky to work out. I'm not sure actually.
I think that's the only thing, isn't it? Like it runs decently now.
Yeah, it's like it's a sort of more of a long-term thing, I guess. The design. Yeah, there is some stuff. The
actual hardware, things. Like I looked at the HTC one,
the 8X,
the X. Yeah, I was quite impressed by the look of that.
It looks alright. I think the Lumia 920 is going to be the one to have.
Fair enough, yeah.
But annoyingly, in a similar vein to the Surface discussion Zac and I had last week, the Lumia is pricing itself too high.
Oh no,
it's iPhone level prices. like a little bit cheaper than that, and it's like not even the Samsung S's go in that high.
Right. Okay.
And it's like, you know what I mean? You're asking a lot of people at those sort of price ranges. And I had the same problem with Surface. It's like, I've seen one in action. I had a toy of one this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're pretty cool. The screen's better than I was expecting, given that it's kind of not a brilliant resolution.
I had that.
You know, it's not Retina.
No.
Or any of that stuff. But it's alright. It's better than I thought.
It's full HD, right?
No. It's like
1920.
No, I don't think it's even that. It's like a sub 1,000 pixels high. You know, it's not. We're not talking high numbers or high DPI here, or whatever the equivalent of DPI is. PPI. If you've been missold PPI.
There's a very high PPI on what did they announce? I think it was the Nexus 10 has the highest PPI or something.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did do. I fired up some. I found. Well, I say I found. I knew exactly where they were. A couple of old mobile phones that I had lying about the house, and I fired them up, thinking I really should get rid of these. I have no need for these to be in my house anymore. And factory reset them. But one of them that I fired up was an HTC Diamond, a touch diamond thing, an old Windows Mobile 6.1 device.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, okay, the OS is still kind of clunky and a bit pretty shoddy actually in places, and the thing kind of frequently looked like it was about to fuck up big time. Mm-hmm. But damn, the screen on that is actually really quite impressive.
Really?
Like very similar dot pitch to the bloody iPhone. And I'm sitting there going, but this was like several years before the first iPhone came out.
Yeah, it's weird, some of the stuff, I don't know.
It's kind of like, yeah, that screen is impressive actually, and I'm looking at it going, but
what?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was a good DC Linus Torvald, you know, the Linux guy, complaining, saying, "What the fuck's happened with laptops? Why are their screens so shit when like tablets, which are so much cheaper, have awesome screens?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is going on?" I mean, it is a scandal. It's ridiculous.
It's weird because it's kind of, it went through a phase where suddenly laptop monitors got pretty good. Like
at one point they were 1080.
There was a run of 1080,
but they're not anymore. They're less than that,
and above 1080 screens. I mean, I think
I saw one.
My brother's Dell Studio, when they were doing that line, has a really, really crisp and lovely screen on it.
But it's all nosedive.
And then they went backwards.
Even Apple ones, apart from these new Retina ones, which you can only get on the MacBook Pro and are insanely expensive.
Yeah, and so it's
like you can't get a Retina PPI equivalent display on a MacBook Air.
No, and again, this conversation comes up quite a lot with my work colleagues as well. It's like, what happened to the monitor industry by that regards, because monitors just haven't progressed.
They went up to 1080 and stopped, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's because everyone was waiting for OLEDs.
But they're still so expensive.
They're still way too expensive. In fairness, OLED prices have dropped massively, as in you can get before you were talking like the tens of thousands for a screen that would be like, you know, your regular home television size, so, you know, like 30 inches plus. I mean, you were talking tens of thousands. I believe it was Samsung, something like that. Don't hold me to that, but someone has launched a big consumer purchasable OLED screen that's at $8,000. Yeah. So it's still a lot, but they've now come down into sub $10,000. So we'll see some stuff turn up soon. Well, soonish. We're getting there.
Super AMOLED.
Yeah, can't happen soon enough, to be honest. But I just want my computer monitors to be a bit better. It's like,
I mean, it is.
They don't have to be much better because they are some distance away from you. You know what I mean? Like 1080 res. The screens on my office desk. I'm not sure I'd want them to be much better because you're getting into the point to the you know, the level of pointlessness.
Yeah.
Well, until OSs support DPIs a little bit better than they currently do. I mean, I don't know. I've never really toyed with how Windows 7 handles DPI, but it's purportedly quite a lot better than how previous ones did.
Scaling,
Yeah,
graphics-wise.
yeah, but there's Windows
OS
is still
X
kind of
does that.
pixel-based, but and OS X is still pixel-based, but you can...
They've got a bit better.
But they have that
way.
×2 mode, don't they,
Yeah.
now? And it's so old apps will sort of...
Look okay.
Ish. Some of them are literally just a pixel scale to make it look the same size on a Retina display, so it's still usable rather than diddy. But it's, Apple have painted themselves a weird problem there that no one else has. It's like because they've just doubled the resolution of their OS. Essentially, they've introduced this ×2 thing where you can scale a window to make it look the same size as it should.
But it's
But then that has a quality problem.
I still think the decision of the resolution for the original iPad was really strange. Because it's resulted in the iPad 3 having an amazing screen, but then when they launched the iPad mini, it had to be the same res as the iPad 1, which means it's not that good PPI-wise.
It's all right. It's not really... It's
like 130 compared to 300.
Well, it's comparable to all the other devices out there, all the other 7-inch devices. So it's...
Well, it's a bit... The Nexus 7's a bit better, because that's like a 720p.
Yeah, little... Well, no, I thought 768 was the... It's like 1024 768, isn't it?
Yeah,
the
okay.
iPad.
I guess that's not too different.
Yeah, they're all pretty similar. It's like it's much of a muchness, but it's...
Yeah, that's true. It's quite similar, I guess.
The Nexus is fairly ahead. I think it's a bit more than 720. It's like 8... It's a weird number.
Yeah, sure. Anyway.
But yeah, the Nexus is slightly ahead. But yeah, they kind of have to, I guess. It's like... I suppose you'd describe it as half retina.
Yeah.
It's a quite a useful term, retina, even if it is kind of a shit
marketing crap.
Yeah.
But it's quite helpful. I don't know what is retina over 300, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the benchmark.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it depends. It's a device-based thing, because, the DPI on a iPad 3 isn't as high as it is on an iPhone, for instance. And again with the Retina displays on the laptop. Exactly, yeah. The DPI on that isn't as good again, because you're using it at a greater distance.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
There should be a formula for that.
Probably is.
Someone will have done it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Everything will be too good to notice in a few years' time, though, won't it?
I kind of get the feeling there was a point we were going towards there at some point in that conversation. We've kind of drifted away from it.
Yeah, never mind.
We don't care about the Wii U. That's what it was.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think that's going to be more than HD.
I was going to talk Smart Glass, wasn't it, actually, a little bit?
Right,
it's like, because that launched, and that led to a dashboard update.
Oh, God. More adverts.
Yeah, I still don't understand why Microsoft are going down this route. Why nobody else has an ad-first model. Nobody. Like, not even Apple, who want to peddle you shit all the time. It's like they're just... You put what you have and what you use as your home.
First and foremost.
You don't fill the screen with ads. You don't get every tab on the dashboard is just a big store.
It's retarded. The
main screen is a store, and you have to dig to get to your content. It's backwards.
It's bollocks.
It's totally backwards. The store should be like an app. And that's the one. Windows 8 gets that right, actually, because it's still, and Windows Phone 8 gets that right, because it's like, it's your stuff. Everything you see on the home screen is stuff you can do.
That's exactly what you want.
And there's an app button, and there's an app button for the store.
And it kind of shows up, doesn't it? Because it's Metro styled, and so is the Xbox. So it's kind of looks the same, but you can see a good example and a totally fucked example.
Yeah, it's like
the same UI.
Well, there's slightly different roles. The Xbox is more a media consumption device, I guess, than your PC or your phone will.
But a tablet is kind of halfway.
Yeah, a tablet's kind of halfway. But, your Xbox should be perhaps giving you hints as to how to get at new stuff. And I wouldn't be so bad with like having a small portion of the dash sort of saying, "Oh, here's an ad," or "Here's what we think is hot at the moment," kind of buttons, like, but not the whole thing.
I know.
Have like one portion of it. They've even dedicated some of the screen now to these recommendation boxes, which are like, "Do you want this? We've based this on the fact that you play this," and stuff like that. And it's like, I really don't care. It's like, to a point, this is a slight improvement because it's a slight stylistic improvement. It's not as flat as it once was. They've gone to the point of having incredibly subtle gradients to make it look a tiny little bit neater.
Right.
But it still sucks. Plus, also, they've only released Smart Glass properly for Windows 8. The Android version is out for Android mobiles, but apparently that doesn't actually work with Smart Glass games yet.
All right. They'll get there.
Like Forza, because that's really your only option. And Halo 4 in a couple of days. And the iOS one is nowhere to be seen. So I've been unable to test this.
Well, hopefully they'll get there. But at least it's out.
Yeah, it's there. But, well, it's early next year, probably, for iOS.
Indeed.
Is the rumour.
So we come to the end of this podcast.
Padded pretty good.
Not bad. Indeed.
Got some extra news in at the end.
Indeed. Next time, possibly...
News!
Halo 4, maybe?
Maybe. We'll see.
Some more...
I was still gunning for a limited edition that I can't get.
Some more XCOM news, some more, possibly, I don't know.
Guild Wars.
Guild Warsage.
Heck, there might be COD Blops next time.
COD Blops, House Creed, maybe, who knows. We shall see.
COD Blops and Ass Creed. Welcome to the clique.
We're playing too much Theme Hospital. Plenty heads.
Please go to the COD Blops room.
You've got Ass Creed.
Doctor required in Blops room.
Right, cheers for joining us, and we'll catch you again for all those horrible diseases next time. Goodbye to everyone listening. Goodbye.
Filthy Blops. Yeah.
They might as well.
What would be my